Welcome to the Clash Masters Gold Edition. We are in Qualifier 3. It is not the final qualifier because there's still the last chance qualifiers, but this is definitely one that matters for points trying to secure your way in. I am Lady B, and today I'm joined by Itsu. How are you doing today, Itsu?
Wonderful. I mean, again, a weekend with a lot of Clash action. That's always the best weekends, and especially with getting closer to those final points for those teams to actually make it. And I think we should start there with explaining to the viewers the format of this tournament, how we got to this point. And actually, we are in the first steps, which means the 3 weeks of competition. Every single week is a qualifier where you can get points. Those qualifiers are single elimination tournaments with the top 8 teams each week can earn qualification points. And those points then matter to get into further stages of this tournament. The top 4 teams in the qualification or for the qualification points are actually getting to the playoffs, and that is the stage where everyone wants to get, Lady B.
Yeah, they definitely want to make their way to the playoffs. And as I mentioned, there's also one final chance, and that's through the last qualifiers. And this is going to be an interesting one because we have this kind of schoolyard pick for the teams that do situate through round 5 through 8. So getting your points in there is definitely going to matter. We have only seen 3 teams that are actually going to have extra points potentially, or we could see some huge mix-ups. But we should talk a little bit about what is on the line with the prize pool, because we've got 50,000 total US dollars on the prize line, and of course the golden ticket. But for the qualifiers, there is $7,000 that is split up between each of the teams, with first place walking away with 2,500 of that. But even 5th through 8th will walk away with some money, and that's just through the qualifiers alone. So if you're making it to the stage, you are making money. For the last chance qualifiers, first place through 4th place will receive $500, 5th through 8th will receive $250, and then of course those play-in winners will receive $250. Those are those 5th through 8th positions. So we have some new, and let's talk about the playoffs, because this is the rest of that prize pool. And I told you, it's not just about the money, it's about that golden ticket. And this is into the World Championship finals. So if you want first place, like this is what you want, this is the ultimate goal here, $10,000 plus that coveted golden ticket, and no one is going away empty-handed. As you can see, the prize pool goes from 1st through 8th.
That's right, but not only the teams are getting the prize money, we have always MVPs for every single week as well. And last week we had the tank crushing bases left and right, but especially Sincera player who always went first, smashed it completely with a crazy hit rate and a crazy average time as well, destruction wise. So really strong over there, and that means it's another nice prize money just for him. So that's a nice thing as well.
Average 1 minute and 43 seconds. Are you kidding me? That's like insane. Absolutely incredible. I mean, that's what you see typically using things like super drags and even electro drags, but sometimes we see it going that fast with Lalo. But why don't we take a quick look at the leaderboard, where we stand right now with the teams, because this is where we want to see the point system and where it works, because we do have some players that are playing today that are already on the board with significant points, like Vatang, Queen Walkers, and Cutie Fenn. So this is going to be interesting to see what happens. The remaining 4th through 8th teams are actually not playing today, so they could potentially get bumped out if we see the 5 new teams joining the mix, picking up some points, especially if they go over Vatang, Queen Walkers, and Cutie Fenn. So we do have Marcos Gaming currently sitting in 12, Team XO, and number 10, the Black Magic, who was so close getting in and lost in the last finals. They're sitting at number 9, and the team that took them down is going to be playing today, looking to knock them out. Vanguard Gaming sitting with 9 points, and Lakode Bushido with 8 points.
Yeah, the important thing is to get into this top 4 position And you said it already, there's a lot of teams waiting for those points today. So I think we should jump into the bracket and see which teams can actually earn some more points today. But because the last qualifier, like the last of those 3 qualifiers is always the most interesting one, because there can be so many things which are changing up. As you said, Cutie Fenn is again on the list. Queen Walker Stephanie is again on the list. The Tang is again on the list. And they are already in those top 8, so they can really make sure that they're getting one of this top 4 position, because this is so important for those teams to get the direct path into the playoffs and, well, do not have to play any further stages. But this is the bracket for today, with the Tang versus 11 Original starting things off. And oh my goodness, that are 2 teams which have a long history in Clash of Clans in the competitive scene. So super excited to see those 2 teams go head to head. And we're jumping right away into the rosters to take a look at who are playing for those 2 teams. Because on the Tang side, there's nothing new. They won that last qualifier last week. And that is Lens Loda, PSW, Warning, Sincera Prayer, our MVP from week 2, and Raylo versus 11 Original.
Yeah, Raylo is known as Lalo, but I've actually seen him switching over his strategies more recently. 11 Original, though, had a pretty good run, an impressive run. I actually streamed some of the open, like those free qualifiers to get in, and it was very impressive. So we've got Vision, Bene, Noah, Muda, and Pazi, who actually wound up switching in. So they do have a nice roster that they switch in and out of. We'll see what they can do, but let's head right into the game as it's starting now. We are ready for the action, and kicking it off is Sincere Prayer, and there we go. It's that MVP that we get to see.
Yeah, and he started things off with those Electric Dragons. You already expected it, just based on the time which he had on average, like the 1 minute and 43 seconds. And Electric Dragons is a perfect troop to do that. So let's see if he can keep that 3-star rate. Let's see if he can keep that time average on those bases. And so far, the core looks awesome for those Electric Dragons. Take a look at those chains all the way, but the Town Hall has to fall as well.
Yeah, the Town Hall is one of the key items here, and it can be really difficult with these E-Drags getting the pathing going in, but he's done a superb job of that, raging up that E-Drag to ensure that the Town Hall does go down. I like the use of the Baby Drag on the outside of the base. He's done a lot of great work with the cleanup with no defenses to have to worry about. All those storages out there were absolutely perfect. And when you do any of these style dragon attacks, a lot of the times you're seeing the heroes working on the outside edge of the bases. This is where they can reserve the most amount of power, because you have your dragons, any kind of dragon, working through the inside with primarily those defenses targeting them, and the heroes can finish off the job.
Yeah, and now with this Electric Dragon taking or getting those chains onto the multi-inferno tower with the Royal Championship coming in as well. And there we go. He actually beat his average time. It's 1 minute and 30 seconds to get this 3-star in. Sincere Prayer is going better and better every single week, it seems like. 1 minute 30 seconds with those Electric Dragons, and that's always the big problem, right, for those teams. Do they build like anti-super dragons with like 1 tile in between those buildings, or is it anti-Electric Dragons with 2 tiles now? So before that, we always had super dragons dominate. Like, it was always super dragons which we have seen in all of those matches. But now with Electric Dragons being a viable option as well, it's a really hard mix for those base builders. And we saw that exactly right there with Sincere Prayer picking the perfect strategy and just going through the base like nothing.
Yeah, and and I'm surprised to see that, because I think he's going to take the crown now as the new E-Drag attacker, which formerly was given over to Papa Magumbo and Sam of Team XO, but recently we've actually seen them struggling with it. So to see Sincere Prayer coming in minute 30-ish, that's absolutely crazy. And like I said, that's kind of the style of attack that we can imagine he's been using mostly to make those great average times. And when we talk about average times, one of the reasons that we want to keep an eye on that sort of stuff is, in the instance you actually wind up with a tied war on stars and on percent, whether it be a perfect war or just any standard tied up star war with the percentage, which we have seen, the time average could come into effect. So you often have players that tend to run those faster attacks in order to make sure that they can keep up in case that happens.
Yeah, that's right. Even though I'm really excited to see like how the hit rates are going to look like, because last weekend we had some surprising hit rates, let's put it like this, like we had in the first day of the first 4 matches, already 5 1-stars. So that's something which was kind of surprising. So let's see how that's going to be this weekend. We have a really stacked roster of a lot of crazy teams with, for example, like Green Walkers being back in those top rounds or top last few rounds again. And Wu-Tang obviously as well, like last week, they really put out those numbers, but they were one of the only teams who were able to do that. So now the question is, how is it going to look like this time around? Are we going to have those crazy one-sided matches again, which we had last week? Or is it going to be more even playing field? That's kind of my big question to come into this first day. And so far, Wu-Tang is starting as they did last week. So now the question is if 11 Original can keep up with the pace, or if they are struggling on offense. So that's like the big question. We have Bene coming in with Blizzard Lalo, it seems like, trying to get in behind this Expo to take down the Expo and the scatter shot. There's the rage, and the Clan Cast is going to get looted as well.
Ooh, getting some nice value out of this so far. And getting nice reach. Getting the CC lure is the biggest component of any kind of blimp attack when you can do that double duty of clearing out a compartment for your pathing, but also ensuring that you get the CC when it's deeper inside the core to the outside edge where your heroes can take it on, where they're generally not obstructed by the majority of the troops. So let's hope that we got most of that out, because otherwise the Queen is going to struggle slightly, but we do have the King actually working along to help her. And this is a good idea considering we have no healers. We do have the slight nerf to the Unicorn, but the Ice Golem will help as well. It's these storages that you worry about with the surrounding defenses, especially this ground Expo.
That's right, the Queen is getting pushed inside that base, but wait a second, that Lava Hound actually lured out the Clankers, which is really bad news for him. The defending Warden has to fall, but no, it is not, which means Ground Expo and the Warden is going to lock onto Bene's Queen, and that's really bad news for him. He has to mess another freeze, but that freeze is coming too late. The Queen already is popped, and with that, that Town Hall is out of reach. He has to reinvest now with that Royal Champion trying to tank for that Queen, but the Queen going down, and with the Town Hall not being activated, that Royal Champion is not going to have a great day, because she's just going to pass that Town Hall. But wait a second, something activated the Town Hall. He might have a chance, but he's not paying attention to that single Inferno Tower.
Yeah, those archers really did help to activate it. So he's done everything he can, but this is not the best investment that you hope for typically. So we'll have to see how he adjusts. This is all about the 2-star save and trying to get percent in a reasonable spot. Going up against a team like Wu-Tang, you know, you're talking about a team that was going perfect in the majority of their wars. So to start off with a low-scoring 2-star is not the easiest way to kick things off. We've got the Hounds that have already taken a massive lead ahead of Balloons, which gives them nothing to really hang on to and survive. But we've also had to invest quite a bit to ensure that we get the 2-star. You can already see with 35 seconds left, no Loons on the board, just that Warden who's already dying out. We are going to be in that 60% range. I don't even think it's going to hit in the 70% mark.
Wow, that is a crazy defense. And from last weekend, we know already, you do not want to give those defenses over to the tank side. Like, this is going to be now, you're going to be now in the position where you do not want to be in, because they're going to put up so much pressure with every single attack, most likely. It's going to be really hard to come back from. But it's as well interesting because last weekend we have seen a lot of teams using those legend style bases, those ring bases. Those were actually the bases where we have seen all of those 1-stars on, especially with different Lalo variations like Queen Charge Lalo. We have seen a hero dive, 3 Lalo approach as well with Blizzard Lalo. And always the problem was the heroes did not take down the Town Hall. With the Town Hall staying up on a ring base, it's always a fight for the 2nd star. So let's see what the route of those two teams is going to be so far. More classic approaches with like anti-3-star bases. But, I mean, 61% defense to take those any day, especially in the current meta. So things are looking really good for the tank so far.
Yeah, unfortunate with the Blizzard that he wasn't able to get more of the lure of the CC to help out, but that was a really aggressive approach coming into that core with all the storages, the surrounding defense, and everything, and the nerf on that Unicorn. This is where you need to be a little bit more careful, but it is time for Rollo to show us his Lalo And he's bringing in the Ice Hound, so he is looking to do a pretty deep push coming in, get a lot of protection for his heroes. Queen's actually got some shallow, easy value to pick up because we've got a nice ease opening. She's just got the Air Expo to worry about before she makes her way to the Town Hall. So this means either an invisibility spell or a freeze could really help her out, but the ability is more than enough. And that Ice Golem to provide the King the full push that he needs coming in. And well, we do have the Royal Champ helping out. I was going to say, I'd be surprised if she's not coming in for that scatter shot because that is the perfect position for her.
Yeah, but now we have the same problem as in the last attack that the defending Lava Hound is coming out, and that's exactly the reason why you put this Lava Hound on defense into the Clan Cars, because it's so annoying to those heroes. And at the end of the day, that is the most important thing. Trying to make sure that those heroes are not getting too much value, but a wonderful invisibility spell. That's exactly the reason why you bring an invisibility spell in those hero dice, because you can make sure to turn the Lava Hound invisible, and with that, it's pretty useless, at least for a couple of seconds, with the Lava Hound starting from this top side right into that Queen, but the Queen has to go down. There's one Headhunter coming, and the Spring Trap is hitting it, so the Queen is going to stay alive for a couple of more seconds.
Yeah, which will help a little bit, but you need more power. But look at those loons. We've got 3 extra loons. We've got a Rage. We've got a Freeze. Stone Slammer going to open up in the core here, providing the Drag Rider to help out. It's the Air Sweeper that you worry about and the traps, forcing them back, but a beautifully placed Rage helps cut them across. This Ground Bow doing absolutely nothing to the air. Drag Rider just hanging in there with that red air bomb. But it looks like we're starting to thin out. So holding on to those extra loons does make a huge difference. 52 seconds left, though, and we still need to make it back down to the bottom side of the base, to that 6 o'clock corner where the King stands. Queen's still up, so they have to try and bypass her. But that King could potentially cause some problems if he jumps over that wall and in the way.
Yeah, it's not really depending on what path those troops are going to take, but so far it's looking really good. It's closing in on this 3rd star with only 1 loon left, but oh, this could make all the difference. The snare trap into a couple of red mines, and those 2 beatings at the bottom. It looks like that the King is not going to get targeted, and with the Owl actually finishing the last 2 beatings, it's going to be another 3-star. But Tang is not giving 11 Original any room to breathe, and that's another 3-star on the bank for them. And the Tang looking as strong as last weekend. 14 stars were their go-to number when it came down to their offensive stats, and they were able to even hold back the golden ticket winner, the first golden ticket winner, to like 10 stars, 11 stars, something like that. So the defense is no joke either. So really great job so far from offense and the defending team. So let's see what 11 Original can bring in that next attack, and if they can grab the first 3-star.
Yeah, and I think really what they're going to have to do is have the right bases. We saw 11 Original actually sneaking in. Their scores tended to be a little bit lower, and they were coming in clutch with some final hits. So despite a couple of hiccups, they found their way. They definitely had luck on their side during their matches, which were looking mighty close. I think there were 2 over that seemed like they were not going to get it, and in the end got the 1-star win or the percent advantage. That's tough to say against a team like Vatang, not only because of their offense, but their defense. They're known for their defense and trying to hold teams back to about 12 to 13 stars. And I'm not quite sure 11 Original will be able to do that against Vatang today, because like you mentioned, 14 stars was primarily where we were seeing them at. They do have a variety of attackers, so it does make it easier for a team to really keep up. And we do have Pazzi coming back on the scene. Good to see him back and around. And he's bringing us in with more Lalo action, but we got the Snowlow, and he's got a heal to come in. So I do question if we're going to work our way through that core of the base.
Yeah, it's all about those heroes. I feel like those 3-star attacks, when it's those crazy overkills and everyone is just spamming in the chat, this game is too easy. It's the heroes which are being all the big difference. So the question now is, can Pazzi use his heroes to take down the path, or take down the power, more likely, from the base, what he's planning for? So far, the Queen walking towards that defending Warden. We have seen already the last time the Warden being a big problem. Clan Castle, though, so far is not getting lured, And the king now is approaching that defending queen. The queen now, though, on offense needs to make sure that she's taking down that town hall. And so far is looking great, but there's a lot of traps now for the royal champion.
Yeah, that invisibility helped out quite a bit. We've got to worry about the CC troops coming out. That headhunter pops the ability just to ensure that the town hall goes down before contending with everything. Doesn't necessarily need to worry about the hound. We can lure it to a corner with the archer and just leave it out of the way of any of the pops and minions coming through. And since the royal champ has already been expended, it's the headhunters that are the only thing that they have to worry about. Royal champ doing exactly what she needs. My goodness, able to take down that scatter shot. He's gotten just about as much value as he hoped for. I would say bar this multi-targeting Inferno that the king could have had a nice entry into.
Yeah, now the Lalo starting right away with that slammer, connecting to that multi-Inferno tower. Really nicely done. The Lalo, can the first group of loons? Oh, the eagle shooting, but the eagle is missing the majority of those loons, which is really good for Parsi. He really needs to push this through, but the king now is blocking the pathing for those headhunters to take down the defending royal champion. He really needs to make sure that the defending royal champion somehow is getting taken down. And if you have seen already the first couple of attacks, we've seen that there's a lot of spring traps, but the core multi-Inferno tower is getting skipped by all of those balloons. There's now the headhunter coming in, and those ice pops are doing a great job.
Ice Pup's definitely doing their point, but it was a bit unfortunate not to see that multi go down, especially with the heal. He's got a lot of loons coming out, and there was the Stone Slammer that opened up to help out, but there's no spell composition to work through. It's a Strag Rider that needs to take it down, while actually the loons take on the single, so this is the perfect combination. Each troop doing what they're best suited for, but do we have enough to get through the Expo and the Battle Builders with only 15 seconds left to go? Minions and pups are working as quickly as they can, could be distracted by the king, but it's just a matter of getting through this Battle Builder hut and getting that full storage taken down in time, Mitsu, and it is just going to be enough with 2 seconds to spare for Pazzi.
Nice 3-star right there, really nicely done, great attack with taking down the value he needed. And then the Lalo, even though the Lalo went all the way around that multi-Inferno tower, but as you said, the split in the end for those two Inferno towers were like perfect. The Dragon Rider tanking the red mines, tanking the splash damage, and then at the same time the loons tanking that single Inferno tower to make sure the Dragon Rider can stay alive and finish off the base in the end. So really nicely done. 11 original is somewhat back, even though their percentage is a big problem. Like having a 2-star, that's one thing, but if you have a really low percentage, this kind of feels like even getting a 1-star sometimes, because even if now the tank might actually at some point drop, like not get a 3rd star, they're still going to have the percentage lead, which is kind of feeling like a 2-star lead overall. PSW is in, and they're still using the Super Dragons. Let's see to what success. But first of all, Town Hall is down and the clan cast is lured.
And this makes it so much easier. When you take that Town Hall down originally, you have less risk of getting through the Poison Bomb. You've already created your path coming in. And he's contending with the CC, which is kind of nice because we don't have to worry about those super minions and the dragons having to take them down while they're taking on damage inside the base. So with the king, golem, and the queen, we are looking to really power along and join these compartments where we have the scatter shot. We've taken down the town hall and work the drags from the opposite side, which is already narrowed out. He does need a little bit of funnel from the outside edge because we have those army camps, so he needs one dragon. They're like miners, you know, they get sidetracked and they see something shiny and want to go, you know, over to it. So as long as we have one working on the outside, we are fine. But this does mean that the heroes are using their abilities quite early, so we don't have a lot for the back end, and the dragons still need to push through. So the Royal Champ's going to have a lot of work to do on this scatter shot at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, especially with the king not really grouping with that queen. The king walking in the beginning and not going into that compartment as intended might be a bigger problem. He's only clearing out those outside non-defensive buildings, which is not the greatest value. Instead, the queen should be the one who needs to be protected. Now the question is, with those expos falling one by one, is it still going to be enough? Is the power of the Super Dragons still there to overcome this funnel thing in the beginning? Now the back end phrase to take down, oh, the double slam, but take down the Oh, the scatter, and that's going to be the scatter going down with that Royal Champ ability. Nicely done. Another 3-star for Vatang, and Vatang just showing off. It's crazy. They're so consistent on offense, and their defense is, I mean, it's like hard to pick something, right? Like their offense is crazy, their defense is exceptional, so really, really hard thing for Level Region to overcome. And so far, Vatang is showing no weakness whatsoever.
Yeah, you know, it's surprising. Those super drag attacks, despite the nerf, we do still see overpowering, even when it looks a little sketchy coming in. He handled that well. And the biggest thing about that is, you know, your heroes are reliant upon the back end of the base. And he did drop his Royal Champ quite a bit early because the Queen was inside. But holding on to some spell value can always help you out of those situations. Having the freezes and invisibility spells, particularly if there is a single or a scatter shot on the back end, is critical to these types of attacks. Anytime you're using dragons and you know your hero health is going to be a little bit lower in the end. One thing I have to say, Itsu, is I think we shopped at the same store today, because it looks like we're both wearing the same.
It kind of scripted, to be honest, but we can promise it's not. Okay, it's a coincidence, but yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna have to do a who wore it better sort of thing here, but yeah, kind of funny. We just had the same wavelength today of what to wear, so pretty awesome. I gotta high five it to you for that one. A little high five over to the side. So we have Vatang in a really good position right now. Vatang still holding strong in this one. And 11 original, like you mentioned, it's really tough when you wind up with these low percentage 2-stars. It almost puts you in the spot, like you said, that it's same as having a 1-star. And it's something that is very difficult to overcome. So you can see the stats here. Vatang in the lead right now. They do have an extra attack in over 11 original, but they have gone perfect so far. They're 3 for 3. So Eve would need to pick up another triple to try and see if they can defend. They would need to be able to defend twice in order to try and set this, or maybe get a 1-star, because the percentage differential is quite severe.
Yeah, but it feels like that 11 original is keeping their Lalo approaches, which has worked in this second attack really nicely. Now he's trying to make sure that his Queen is taking down the town hall, so far out of range of that Clan Cast, which is really important. And now we have that King and that Royal Champion nicely funneled into that scatter compartment, but the Clan Cast now is coming out. The scatter shot is going down right away. And with that, the Queen should take down in the same second that town hall as well. So things are looking really good. And depending on how the Clan Cast troops are going, or walking, or fighting, might even take down some more buildings at that bottom side with another nice invisibility spell.
Yeah, this is looking good so far. We've got a pretty nice path set up, everything working along that outside edge of the base, defensively at least. And when you are setting these up, the best thing about this, especially if you're using a lot of hastes or freezes, is to keep it close-knit so you get the most value out of the radius of those spells, particularly the haste spells.
Yeah, and again, that Slammer, it's such a nice thing what Pazzi already did. Finding a nice location for that Slammer, which can take a lot of value, is always such a key thing. And now it's joining up forces with the rest of those loons right into the Tesla farm though. And it's again all about the pathing for those loons. With 2 single phone towers though left alive and a ground expo, things are looking really good for Noah now, with the warden ability perfectly timed for that scatter. Shot, and now he has a freeze left. Things are looking good for 11 original, that they can keep that 1-star lead only for Vatang overall.
Yeah, this is definitely going to help them out a little bit, but possibly not enough if we see a 14 or 15-star performance coming in from Vatang. Look at the power of the Stone Slammer. It's, you know, we talk about how strong it is, but it really is like bringing in an extra hound to come in and provide tank, especially when it's able to take the lead. Plus you get that added benefit of having the extra troops come out. Drops the invisibility spell, helping these loons not only pass the battle builder hub, but through the air defense, and 29 seconds left to go. with the split that he has is more than enough to finish off the job here. Definitely not going to beat in time if this came down to average, especially what we saw from Sincere Prayer. But they are getting the job done and trying to recover from a shaky start. And that's what Clash is all about. It's keeping your head in the game and staying through and powering along and hoping that your defenses will eventually hold. We do definitely see some different strategies from time to time. I mean, you know this as a pro player, that you might come in hitting the easiest bases first that you know that you have the plans for and save the hardest for last. Do you think that's an approach that Vatang takes?
I'm not sure how they're actually going to split up the bases, but we always see the same strategies coming in first for them, which means they like to have Sincere Prayer coming in with Elected Dragons, with Super Dragons, with regular Dragons, like all of those air type troops. And he likes and tends to use it on the first base. I don't know if they're going to say, okay, pick the first base, or it's like the base which is left over and they say, okay, air is that strong, can be used on any base anyways. Obviously, we don't know that, but either way, the attack structure for them is always pretty similar. And then in the later stages, we have Warning and Slowda finishing things off, typically with a Queen Charge Lado approach. So overall, a lot of air, but they like to mix things up between Dragon-type attacks and those Lado attacks. And this time around, though, if he's going to stick to that Siege, he has a locked archer selected, so maybe he's going to charge in from the 3 o'clock side into that scatter, and then maybe all the way to the town. Or maybe he's already doing the connection now, because I don't see any more wall breakers in this army composition, so he's going to wait for the clan castle and then going to use the lockdown maybe all the way, depending on what exactly his plan is. Let's see what he has in store for us.
I'm hoping to see this lag launcher lead all the way through for the Queen. This is a nice opening, but there's a lot of distraction with that open wall there, so that makes it a little bit of a sticky situation. The King is going to help path her and take the focus of the scatter shot off of her, but are we going to have maybe like Raged Up Yetis to come in case that Queen decides to go through the narrow compartment? I would say, could this be a big mistake? But surely Warning knows exactly what he's doing. We've got the Ice Golems coming out, trying to freeze up the value of the radius, but let's see the path that the Queen takes, because, uh-oh. It opened up too early, and she can't actually get to the town hall, so he is going to have to lollo through this.
He now has to think about what exactly the objective is for his Queen, and it seems like that the Queen is not going to reach that Inferno Tower. She's not even going to go into that direction, which is really bad news right now for him, so he has to lollo through the town, as I said, but that is possible for sure. Queen is going down, so now everything is relying on this lollo part, but things are not looking too great. Vulnerability early on. Now he has to collect percentages. We have already said it, like Vatang has one fail for free pretty much because of the percentage, which we have seen in the first take of 11 Original. And now it's all about getting more percentage, which should be doable for sure for Warning. He's already crossing or getting close to that 70% mark. And with that, it should be enough percentage to still keep the lead, even if 11 Original is going to face down their next attack.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to the base building team. That was a perfectly placed tornado trap to hold off, while the red air bombs didn't actually do their job because it was perfect timing of the Warden ability to hold them past. The tornado trap did do its job, keeping those loons inside and dying out and taking on damage from the incoming defenses. But like you said, the percent is what really matters right now. This is where 11 Original needs to see a 2-star differential over Vatang. So they would need to hold them back to 13 stars and pick up a 14-star war. So far, it's possible, but is it likely is the bigger question.
Yeah, I think now it really depends, like pressure game-wise, what 11 Original is doing in their next attack. Like, their next attack is super, super crucial to like pressure the last attacker of a tank. We have seen Lalo attacks can fail, in general attacks can fail, especially if there's more pressure on the line. If you have like the freedom of like, okay, if you fail, whatever, we can just risk it, kind of. That's typically not the approach you want to give to the opposing team, because that's just attacking without pressure is always nicer overall. So that's like the important thing. So now it's important for 11 Original. Keep up that pressure, show the presence right there in this match, and then it's coming down to the last two attacks overall from those teams. So let's see what 11 Original can bring to the table, and especially if we're going to see Lado again. But I feel like so far both teams really heavily prioritize Lalo, especially ever original, like Blizzard Lalo was one of their strategies. I think twice Sui Lalo, if I remember that correctly. So a lot of Lalo from their side.
Yeah.
Let's see if they're going to change things up or if they're going to stick into that.
Yeah, I think if they're sticking with the Sui Lalo, they do need to be careful, but because of the Unicorn nerf and how much damage they're taking on, bring those invisibility spells. But instead, we've got Muda coming in with the Queen Charge Lalo, and he does have an invisibility spell. Typically, when we see this, we want to use it to help our Royal Champ get in a little bit deeper. The Queen could get a lot of value out of the Rages. We've got 4 Rages to cut her path along, but we are coming in from the opposite side of the Town Hall, so that obviously says to us we are going to see the Lalo coming through there. The question is, how much value do we want to get out of the heroes? With that Stone Slammer, we can actually cut across to one of the scatter shots, take it down, and then focus solely on the Town Hall with the Warden.
Yeah, but first, it's really important where this Queen is stepping. He has overall 2 wall breaks which he can use, with it seems like the King getting prepared slowly for that 3 o'clock scatter side. But still, the question now is, oh, where's the wall break coming in? That's exactly into that Multi-Inferno Tower. But with having the walls open on the left side, I am not sure if that Queen is going to backtrack now to that Multi-Inferno Tower compartment. She can just go for that defending Queen as well. Now he has problems because the Queen timing is really bad for him. Is he using the Queen ability? No, the Queen ability is staying not used. Now where's the Queen going? Sweeper, and
oh, there we go.
She's coming back. Really nicely done from that Queen, getting that Multi-Inferno Tower as well.
Yeah, and we do have the super minions in the poison being held off by the Royal Champion. Drops the invisibility spell to refocus to the Queen. She is going to have to force her ability because of the headhunters and the damage coming in. But the Royal Champ did not take out the multi, so we now have to jeopardize and sacrifice the Stone Slammer for the multi-targeting Inferno, but he still has the Queen trying to beat her way through and provide distraction for the scatter shot. This is not exactly how we expected it to go. That Royal Champ was intended to take on the multi and use that scatter shot or the Stone Slammer for the scatter shot position on the back end. So it does mean he has to have enough loon value to clear this up, and we don't have any freezes left over here, so holding on to 4 extra loons that he can bring in from the sides, try and split up where everything's going. We'll see if Muda can actually recover this one.
Yeah, and the Queen not targeting that sweeper just a second ago was a big problem. Those loons from that siege, from the slammer, not going right away into that compartment behind the tunnel was a big problem, but now that scatter shot has a good chance of messing this attack up. But so far with the haste leading into the back end, things looking good. Now everything is depending on air traps, but with that Tesla farm, it's so much damage on the back end. Those loons are dropping so quickly, but there is so many of them and no red mines whatsoever. So things are looking doable, but the time is ticking as well.
Yeah, 15 seconds was on the clock as you were talking, and that Archer's Tower still stands as the Warden gets distracted on other items, so there is not going to be enough time to recover this. And where 11 Original needed to go for a 14-star war and try and hold back Batang, their only saving grace now would be an impossible 1-star. I'm going to call it an impossible 1-star because I cannot see Batang slipping up where they know they have the advantage to just even go for a safe 2-star at this point, unless they have like the most incredible base building ever devised for the final base that Batang was like, we have no idea what to do. I don't see it happening at 2.
I'm not sure on how safe this next attack is going to be because we have Lance Loda next, or like last, for Batang, and he is a Queen Charge out of 1 trick, right? Like we know that he's using that strategy only in Legends. He likes to bring the Yeti blimp with his Queen Charges, which is obviously possible to just like walk around the town or just blimp the town on getting that 2-star say. Oh, and what? Actually, Muda using... Oh, okay. As long as they did not bait this, this is looking good entry-wise. That's the base which I posted on YouTube. It's a reported base which I adjusted a little bit. I think you faced this base a million times in Legends. It's kind of funny. Also, let's see how he's going to approach this. I think he has attacked this base already a million times as well, but things are looking a bit different with the Testa farm. Typically, you want to have that Queen walking around the left side and then obviously charging into their core. But there's a couple of changes to this base, which are typically not in the original version of this base. Now the log launcher all the way to take down that multi-phone tower. So let's see how that's going to work for Loader, because he is taking all the risk to make sure to get this place start. Charging from the other side. Using the siege machine as well from the other side. So a lot of risk is involved in this plan. So I'm looking forward to see if this base can defend.
Yeah, I mean, this would be pure evil mastermind genius, or if they baited this in such a way to try and hold back to a 1-star, which would seem virtually impossible with it being a Legends base, very common. And knowing that, you know, even in the chat, everyone's saying we've seen this base how many times? So it is definitely looking like it could be a 2-star, because we still have the Royal Champ to bring in. We've got the Lalo that can come in for the Town Hall. Just have to hit that 51% mark, and he knows he can get it done. Queen still got her ability and a rage to carry through and get just enough value, and he starts the Lalo, so this is already looking like it's hitting the 2-star point.
Yeah, freeze in just a second onto that Town Hall to make sure the Loons are staying safe. The invisibility spell to keep that Queen safe for a second. And now that rage, the Queen has done her job. Lalo's now about to push all the way, and there's the 2nd star. That was the most important thing for this attack. The question now is, can he still get that 3rd star? Then slowed up, pushing through with that Royal Gem on the back, and he missed the freeze onto the defending Royal Gem, which means it's a bit more damage on Lassie. But as well with the Loons closing in and the healers actually taking that air defense, things are looking really good for Bretang. Like another 14 stars for them.
Yeah.
As per usual, you want to say, in those qualifiers in the Clash Masters.
I mean, that back-end Royal Champion absolutely doing work, definitely handled that well. The Queen got a massive amount of value, and, you know, that's maybe not just the Queen, but the use of the log launcher with the Queen in combination. So absolutely stunning coming in from Bretang, and I mean, we wouldn't expect any less. And one of the things we do have to mention in this phase as we go through these qualifiers, this is single elimination. You know, it's one and you're done. There's no lower bracket for Eve to go into, so they need to fight their way through to try and turn this one around. So we'll have to see how they fare through this war.
Yeah, but still, let's see what the last attack from 11 Russian looks like. The chat already was joking around with, now we're going to see a Skelly Donut Lalo, because they're trying to showcase every single possible Lalo strategy. So they so far used the Suri Lalo, the Blizzard Lalo, the Queen Charge Lalo. I think next we'll have the Skelly Donut. Let's see if that's going to, if that's how it works, or if 11 Original have something different planned for their last attack. Looking forward to that and see if they're going to follow that route or if they're going to bring something different. I don't remember if Vision is on the roster, to be honest. Typically, he likes to do smash attacks as well, even though they're not as popular anymore. So I think there's a couple of different options. Okay, yeah, it is Vision, but actually he's switching from smash to those dragon type attacks with the dragons, with the dragon riders, and actually a bat and some lightning. So let's see, there's the bat spell, tanking the air defense, and that arch tower really nicely done. And with that, trying to funnel this left side with some dragon riders as well. Really smart start from Vision to now then engage onto that eagle.
Yeah, and let's see if they can finish off strong. Won't be the win for them, but it would be nice to see a 13-star. And I was going to say, I know it's not Kala because he's out watching a football game today. So definitely not playing while he's at the stadium. But we do have this beautiful opener. We've got the Hydra working through very nicely with the Stone Slammer taking the lead, but we leave the Town Hall for that back end, and that's always a huge risk. Not that it matters for them right now, but it would be nice for them to finish off on a high note, knowing that their next chance to try and get in will be in the last chance qualifiers. We've got the Drags and Drag Riders making their way to the Town Hall, and he does have a Rage to keep them going strong, and that Freeze to hold off not only the Expo, but that Giga Inferno once it opens up. nice position here with the air defense as well. And we can see the power of the heroes. This is what we talk about, Itsu, is the work that they have to do on the outside edge. And as you mentioned earlier, the queen not being stuck inside. She's on the outside with the king, getting maximum value.
Yeah, but I think everything just relied on the start, this opening with the Bat Spell and the Dragon Riders, making sure that the Eagle is taken down, because that's typically the side where you have to place your heroes to actually take down this side and funnel everything, funnel all of those dragons into the correct direction. But he just used the Dragon Riders, which means he can use the heroes on the complete other side, away from the majority of damage. And with that, those heroes are going through really nicely. The king taking down the Tesla farm right there, with the queen and the royal champion following right behind. Only the defending king and the ground expert are standing in between of the 3-star and a possible defense. But to be honest, with that royal champion still up there and the queen ability still out there, this looks like another 3-star, but it's not going to be enough. It's going to be a 14-13, a really nice match overall. Queen ability in, royal champion ability in as well. Nice 3-star, but it's not enough overall for Level Original.
Unfortunately not their day today. But they definitely did showcase very well against Fatang, who, as you mentioned, was averaging 14 stars in their play week. And also during the third qualifiers that we had this week to get them into this open qualifier, they were hitting 14 and 15 star wars. So this is very impressive. This was not an easy match. Definitely Fatang was the favorite going into it. And of course, they will advance on. So we can see 14-13, huge differential on percentage. And at the end of the day, that was the biggest problem. If things had gone better planned for that queen opener, if he had an invisibility spell for Bene, this could have been a completely different story, I think, for 11 Original. Just one small misstep, and it does cost them.
Yeah, especially I think that being the first attack of the match pretty much for them. So that was a huge problem. Like, if that's a later attack, you can still say, okay, I mean, if it's the last attack, it is whatever, kind of. But if it's the first attack, it's really hard to stay in those matches just mindset-wise. So I think overall, it was a tricky start for Level Original, but they did a nice fight. Like, except having that bad start, they really tried to come back into this one. 13 stars is not bad at all. They had to take some risks to somehow overcome this deficit from the beginning. They tried a couple of things. In the end, it was not enough versus a really, really strong Batang at the moment. Like, they're really crushing a lot of those teams, being back-to-back in those qualifiers. So that's nicely done. But I think as well, we can take a look at the bracket maybe next to see what matches we still have left for the day, because that was just our first match. Now our next one is looking as spicy as the first one. Time to Throw versus MSE Esports. That one is going to be a good one.
I actually really like the way this has been split up, because what I'm really most looking forward to is Queen Walker Stephanie versus BPT Esports, because BPT was coming in with some 15-star wars as well during the qualifiers. But Time to Throw, definitely, I know they're excited to actually have the opportunity. They said during the qualifiers, this was their first time actually getting into a qualifying golden ticket matchup. So they are absolutely thrilled. And I think they're going to try and pull all the stops against MSE Esports. But that is not an easy team to try and hold back against, knowing that you have some of the former MCES members and the new members. Well, I guess we could pull up the roster and talk about them a little bit more, because that new lineup that they have seems to be working exceptionally well. So since I'm already talking about MSE Esports, I'll give you that quick run over. We've got Kingsman, Ariam, and Synthé, who have really jived together over the past 2 years. But it's the addition of Alec and Nachoa that have definitely added a lot of value to the team, and we see a lot of strength within them. So I think they're very excited to also be within these qualifiers now. But talk us through Time to Throw, Itsu.
Yeah, Time to Throw coming in with Demo, iPro, Exodani, ND, and Ari. And overall, they had some great success over the last couple of weeks. You have to say, in different tournaments, putting up really good results as well in the ESL ladder, for example. So overall, really, really interesting matchup, I think. And that's what I meant with, like, I'm super excited for this one. It's two really strong teams with the last couple of weeks with their performance going head to head. And that's kind of the crazy thing about this bracket. Like, we have so many good teams in this one, which I feel like it's really hard to pick a clear favorite in a lot of them because they're playing on such a high level. So cannot wait to get started and get into the match, get into the action with those two teams going head to head. But I think overall, MSE Esports for sure has the advantage of the experience, being around for so long. And they really felt like they were coming together as a team so well, and performing really nicely with a lot of high scores.
Absolutely. And I've known the Times with their team for quite some time. I know Ari is going to be absolutely pog about this. And I'm curious to see if he's going to be the final hitter. A lot of times we do see him coming in with that pressure on. And that's make it or break it. And that's where we can either see him completely succeed or in some cases completely crumble. So we'll see how he handles the pressure. That's my most interesting pick to watch today, other than, of course, Synthé. I mean, we know Synthé is known for his Skelly Donut Hogs, though we recently saw him switching things up a bit and throwing us for a loop. I'm wondering if he's starting to realize that he's becoming predictable and people are trying to bait against him. So I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it was very unexpected what we saw from him, and it wasn't even hogs. So we'll see what they have in the mix-up, but I'm hoping to see some hybrid from Kingsman. That's one of my favorite attack strategies, and it's actually one of the ones that he is known for and does so well, but it is very base specific.
Yeah, I think it's even more trap specific than base specific, because if the traps are against your hybrid, you have no chance. But at the same time, if traps are not against your hybrid, trust me, I had recently a legend defense where the queen charge took down two freaking buildings, and he spammed everything in like hybrid wise and 3-star. This was one of the most frustrating things, and that's how hybrid is. If the traps are not there against the hybrid troops, it's going to be not easy at all to defend it. But starting things off, we have Queen Charge Lalo, arguably right now the most flexible strategy in the game, because it can use every single siege machine which is out there, and you can go for so many things. I always see people asking like, okay, what should we go for with Queen Charge Lalo? Town Hall, Eagle, Inferno Tower, Scatter Shots? Well, the answer is just pretty much yes, because you can go for whatever. You can get your own personal style in this attack. And I think this makes this so scary. So let's see what Dani is going for. If he's going to skip that Town Hall and set maybe the King in or something, or if he's going to, I don't know, take down the Scatter or something. Let's see what exactly he's up to.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to watch because we've got the Wizard Tower to actually pull the Queen slightly in. We could send it a wall break and try and open up that multi-compartment, though. With the King, if he comes into that scatter shot position, he could actually get the Royal Champ to force across to those multis. A multi on the outside is easy pickup for Lalo, but oh my goodness, he had to pop that ability on the Queen. Unfortunately, got that reach down way too late, and now having to contend with the CC, but freezes up the Headhunters, drops the poison on the super minions, which is exactly the combination that you want to do. We see some people mix it up, but the best reason to actually do this is because you're holding back and limiting the range and the speed of those missiles from the super minions, and when that Headhunter gets in close proximity, you want to make sure the Queen has time to take it down fast. So King actually having to go in for the Town Hall here. Queen stays alive and crosses over, but we have the Royal Champ who still needs to step up to the bat, and somehow we need to get into this multi-section.
Yeah, he has another wall break if he wants to use it for the Queen. Let's see if and when he's going to use it. So far, though, the Queen is about to die, so no more resources invested into her. While at the same time, we have the King walk around the top side, still going on, still going strong. But the Eagle is so far in the back, and everything is relying on Eagle going down, or the Eagle at least targeting not those loons to make sure that they're staying alive. And so far with the Royal Champion having her ability still left and being able to maybe overpower the back end with that multi-inferno tower, things are looking doable for sure with the time ticking. But that King walk is awesome for a cleanup. And the Royal Champion just taking down buildings left and right, and that's going to be the first 3-star of this match. And Dani showing off that time to throw is not being here to get underestimated.
That Royal Champ, definitely the MVP of this one, coming into the core of the base where we did worry about the multi-targeting Inferno. So nice thinking on the fly, handling that well when he did have to force the ability just a little bit too early for the Queen. But this is something that we see a lot of the players doing. They're so accustomed to using these Queen charges and running down that Queen's health that they will tend to drop late rages. And yes, they're multitasking, there's a lot going on, but there's only a certain point that you can drop it, especially if there are CC troops coming out and how much incoming damage you have coming in. So some players like to risk it, and sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, for time to throw and Exo Danny, it does actually work out very, very nicely. And if that Queen had actually gotten her power, that likely would have been a super overpowered raid.
Yeah, but at the end, the most important thing is to get that 3-star. That's exactly what he has gotten over here. So that's how they would have liked to start. And now we have Elec coming in with as well a Queen charge. Lado this time around, even though it's the same strategy, a little bit different spells with the skeleton spell in there as well. And having even a rocket loon in the mix. No wall breakers whatsoever, which is interesting. He's just relying on his on his funneling skills to make sure that the Queen is walking into the right direction, which so far works out great. But the question now is he just going to rely on that Queen to actually break through the correct wall and make sure that this town was going to fall, with the clan cast now approaching as well?
Yeah, so he's got the freeze combination down, the poison down for the super minions, again slowing down that effect, trying to hold on to the Queen ability. The reason we want to hold on to these abilities is as we get deeper through the base, we need to be reliant upon it, especially if she's trying to work her way through to get to that town hall. We've got the openings to try and weave her way through. There's actually no jump, and she will have to beat through the wall to get to the town hall here. But with the king and the cleanup that's already served well, with the wizard and that sneaky goblin, Queen has nowhere else to go but to that town hall. We'll get a rage down fast. Drops the invisibility instead. He's holding on to that rage as he makes the way through the wall, I think, to save on some time. But we want to hold on to that ability for the town hall here.
Yeah, especially like, saving that rage is such a important move. And now with Lado coming from the top side, he needs to like get this eagle out ASAP to make sure that those loons are not taken care of with just one eagle shot pretty much. But so far it looks great. The Queen is breaking through that wall, getting that town off the way, and at this point it's pretty much only those two Inferno Towers left standing, with the Multi-Inferno Tower being the more annoying one with that sweeper as well. But Royal Champ ability again, not even used her ability. This is looking really, really strong from Elec, and they're just showing off why Queen Charge Lado right now is such a powerful strategy, and especially so flexible with having another charge without even using wall breakers to get through the entire base and take down the town as well.
I mean, we do know that the Queen's favorite target is walls, so I mean, why bring an extra wall breaker if you don't need to? And the Queen has the path to get there. But this Royal Champ definitely helping out quite a bit, and you can see that MSE Esports definitely knows the range of their heroes, what they should be doing. That Royal Champ had a lot of power to keep her alive through that ability, and that is a phenomenal start here for MSE Esports. We are tied up 3-3. And this is the way we want to see wars going, Itsu. This is exactly how we want to kick it off. We want the nice close matches. We want to see it coming down to the wire in the end, though we do want to see some smart and interesting defenses. It is always fun to watch someone get baited. Maybe not for the player who's getting baited, but from our side, we do appreciate the base building. So we'll see if there's any of that in store, especially because MSE Esports actually tends to be somewhat of a predictable team.
Yeah, some teams really like to stick with their strategies. Like we have a lot of times that people are asking about base identification, even though that it's great, like to find the weakness of a base. But in the current meta, I feel like it's really important to being able to as well one-trick a strategy, especially with a lot of pros having so many attacks every single day in Legend League. You're just used to actually overcome baits and even recover attacks which seem to be not recoverable. So that's kind of crazy with the skill level of every single player, obviously with the game not being the hardest ever, but players itself, like they get so good at the game with just this practice level. in Legend League, which was not there yet like earlier. Like the Legend update changed a lot of things over there for them. And having so many people learning those strategies, now we have Time to Throw coming in with the Skelly Donut onto this Clankas and taking down the multi-inferno tower as well. Let's see if the hero follow-up is going to be as promising as this entry.
Yeah, just not just any Skelly Jelly. You know, this is the Belly Jelly donut. It's but coming in with those bats to help take on the surrounding Inferno. We've got the CC down, and we've got additional damage coming in from that core of the base. So does actually get a successful push. And the great thing about doing these is what you're looking to do is join together the compartments that you've taken down to create the path that you need for whether it be Lalo or Hogs or Hybrid or anything else that you're coming in with, that you make this connection together for a full clean out that's going to shape up your pathing and base. And I do like the King in the compartment that he's in, dealing with the defending queen while his queen actually works alongside with the Ice Golem to get directly to that town hall. And there's that invisibility spell, much needed, because we don't have as much out of our unicorn since the nerf. It's a good idea to always have that invisibility spell with you.
Yeah, and especially if like any skeleton spells or something are about to distract that queen, it's always nice to just turn them invisible. And now we have this Laro starter from the far left side. Just notice how he's not dropping the Warden on the top left side. This is like a classic beginner mistake, to drop the Warden where you start with the Laro. You need to drop the Warden where you want to place the Headhunters, because from this top left side, the King would be in between the Headhunters and the Royal Champion. But now, because you started with the Warden from this bottom side, you can use the Warden ability to protect those Headhunters and get those Headhunters right away onto that Royal Champion. The first group of Loons obviously being a little bit weaker due to that, but still, the first group of Loons pushing through. But now everything is relying on this multi-inferno tower, but if there's not too many Black Mice, Dragon Rider should be able to deal with that.
Yeah, and he's hanging on to this final freeze here, which I'm surprised, but maybe for the single for that Drag Rider, because he does have some health left, though. The Loons, if they can get there first without any traps, can actually take on the heat, but he's going to need to freeze up the single, so a good hold on that freeze for this, but we've got 26 seconds left to go, and you know that #1 air defense, that King, is slightly distracting those minions from doing their job and taking care of the cleanup. So he's got to hurry up, and I see 2 storages down at the bottom and only a Warden that hits mighty slow to try and take it on.
Yeah, this seems like to be the first defense in this match, but at the same time though, it's a really high percentage defense, so it's a different point from where we are going at the moment compared to the 11 original, the tank match, because 11 original had an incredible low percentage, while this one, well, if we see an MSE Esports fail as well, everything is still open, so percentage wise they're still incredibly close, so everything can still happen. So it's not the end of the world, but obviously this means MSE Esports can push that lead now with their next attack.
Yeah, they can. This definitely could help them quite a bit, but I do expect to see some defenses coming in from Time to Throw. We'll have to see how much it's going to, how much it's going to amount to, but that's a really nice high percentage to come in with so far. So we'll see how they can carry this through. In the attacks to come, we've not seen Synthé yet, and again, we've talked about baiting certain players. Oh, here we go. So he is coming in with the Skelly Donut and 38 Hogs. So let's look around. We've got the Clan Castle. We've got the single. I mean, how much value and spread do we expect him to go for? And just taking that down could give a nice opening to the town hall, especially since we've got the Flame Flinger to work across for the scatter shot. Just has to be mindful about the damage coming in from the multi, and he doesn't have anything really distracting it, so he knows he's going to take a little bit of a hit coming in, relying that he's going to take everything else out. Yeah,
so far the Flame Flinger is not baited, which means he can get that access to that bomb tower, to that scatter shot. Like, since he's attacking with Hog Riders, bomb towers are an important thing as well to take down, and that scatter shot is a really important factor as well. Taking down both of those with just that Flame Flanger is looking great for Cynthia. Now he has to enter into that tunnel with his heroes, but the Testa form is making the funneling not too easy, let's put it that way. But so far, with those sneaky goblins and the balloons, nice use with those, making sure that the traps are not as problematic as we would have liked to see. And now he's going to unleash those Hawkeyes in just a couple of seconds, probably from the top side into that Eagle, and make sure that he's doing quick work of that phase.
Yeah, so we do have the early Warden ability coming into that Eagle, but also so we can clip the Headhunters coming through and the World Champion to take down the defending Queen. This gives him a little bit of a pass. I like the placement of the only heal that we have coming in for that Wizard Tower, because he goes with a larger pack of Hogs, knowing that even though we have the multi, we've got the Royal Champ coming in from that side to actually take it on, and could eventually work through the core of the base while the remaining Hogs work their way around.
It's just so crazy to me, like those attacks look so easy, like probably even way easier than Lalo, but trying it then as well, especially like if you're doing it in Legend or something, where it's so random what type of base you're going to get, it is really impressive to get this done. He has 1 mana as well for cleanup purposes, but that's going to be an easy 3-star for Cynthia, and that means they are getting that lead we were talking about. 6 to 5 stars at this point. The only difference maker being that 1 star at the moment, and obviously the just couple of percentages, which time to throw were just missing on their last attack.
Yeah, so this does give a big lead right now for MSE Esports. They are the favorite coming into this. I mean, just like Vitang against Eve, there are always going to be teams that have a little extra bump ahead. There's almost always going to be an underdog, especially with this mix-up that we have, which I find very interesting for what matches we're going to see, because later on we're going to see Queen Walker Stephanie versus BPT Esports, where most people would say Queen Walkers obviously are the shoe-in for it, but BPT has definitely been coming in strong with high performing stars, and we also have Cutie Fenn, who's a returning team for the qualifiers as they played. I believe it was in the first one. And then facing off against Black Magic, which is the underdog. So we've got interesting lineups today where it's no like big team, like you don't have a Tang versus Queen Walkers, or Queen Walkers versus MSE Esports. So we'll have to see how everything lines up for tomorrow, but that's where we could potentially see these big matches lining up in the semifinals and finals. And that's what's going to make it really interesting. Or we could have quite a bit of a mix-up if any of these teams can really overthrow those top three, MSE Esports, Cutie Fenn, and Queen Walkers, as Vitang now has definitely tried to help work their way through.
Yeah, now with that Queen Charge Lalo, but with the Golem in there as well, making sure that his king is not going to lose too many hit points approaching this scatter compartment, which is really interesting. Healers are in there, but he needs to make sure that those healers are not switching to the king or to the Golem. That would be really bad for him. Instead, king ability is getting used with that Headhunter, which is getting obliterated by the double giant bomb. And now the question is, can he take down the Expo? I think he for sure wants to take down the Expo, but so far it seems like the Expo is going to survive. Depending on if the king can take it down. King? Nope. That single Fern Tower is too strong, and that means that Expo is going to survive quite some time. It's going to deal a lot of damage, not only on the Unicorn, but as well on that Queen, which is not a great starting point right there for ND.
Yeah, and you've got to say that solid base building, when you are thinking about placement of certain items or singles, like think about the entry points where you're going to have heroes coming in from, and make sure you have those singles in range of heavy hit point items, heavy DPS items like those ground bows, and you can really make it a lot harder to try and get the full value out of that range. But the Queen has secured the Town Hall in this. We do have the healers following her. Still needs to keep in mind of the single targeting Inferno, but he does have a freeze and an invisibility spell that he can help carry her through. He just needs to keep those healers out of range of the poison bomb.
Yeah, now the Lalo from that top side already taking down Queen on the far right side. Now it's all about taking down that Royal Champion on the left side. Question though is, how is that going to work? I feel like the Headhunters are stuck for a couple of seconds on that King. Can the Headhunter take down the Royal Champion? No! The Royal Champion is going to survive, and that is really bad news because this means those cleanup minutes on the far left side are going to be taken down. ND really struggling, and this one extra would survive from the beginning is still a problem for that Queen. Royal Champion going down as well on offense, and this looks like another defense for MSE Esports, really falling short. We talked about the Warden positioning, that it's so important to protect your Headhunters versus the correct hero, and he, I don't know, like maybe misangled the Warden, where all of those Headhunters going straight into the Barbarian King, and then this Royal Champion on the far left side, taking down so many loons on his way to defend this entire base.
Yeah, this is definitely a tough showing, but what MSE Esports is showing is not only their offense, but their defensive strength coming into this. They seem hungry for it. I know that in the past, last year was a little bit rough for them. And this year they seem to have their eye on the prize. And we do have those new team members that have joined, Alec and Nachoa. And it seems like from the start of the year, it took a little time for them to jive, but they're finally finding that groove and definitely proving themselves. Nice to see them in this mix-up, but today isn't just the only factor they have to worry about, because we still have to go through the semifinals, and that's if they actually get through this match, you know, that there aren't any surprises, any one stars, because let's be honest, they do happen. You had a lot last week. These one stars do happen, so we'll see if Time to Throw can find any means, any way to try and hold back MSE Esports. And here comes Nachoa now. We've got the log launcher to open up the course of the base. I see 29 loons, so this is going to be interesting how much he wants to actually get pushed in. Looks like he wants to get close to the core, but with 29 loons, I suspect we are going through that town hall all the way to the scatter shot.
Yeah, with that log launcher taking down all the value it needs. King though going for that Tesla farm with the Queen together, but those logs already dealing so much damage that the Inferno Tower is already gone, and now even the Yetis are trying to tank a little bit for that Royal Champion, so things are looking really good. But there's the triple Ice Golem Clan Castle coming out from Demo right there. Now the Queen has to push her way a little bit further. But take a look at that Royal Champion. He has an invisibility spell left, which means he should be able to take down that Multi-Inferno Tower if everything goes well. And that's another Multi-Inferno Tower down. Actually, both Multi-Inferno Towers off this base down already. Things are looking really, really good as an opener. But now it's all about pushing it through, making sure that Lalo is going to get the rest of the base done, because the Town Hall is not even activated yet. And he's relying on the loons, collecting the last remaining percentages. And there we go, 50% mark is crossed, Town Hall activated. And now he has to push into that Town Hall with the Warden ability not even used yet.
Yeah, so that Warden ability reserved to get those loons safely out of the Poison Bomb. Rage is up as well to quickly split them across. Now that means we don't have the Warden's ability for the Headhunters to come in. So he's got to wait for a little distraction, which is perfect. I mean, look how fast they took down that Royal Champion as they were focused right over top on the loons, and a beautifully timed freeze. Look how this is just going so fast in the Lalo part. Yes, a little bit of investment on the front end, but it was well worth it, considering I don't think he's lost a loon in this raid. They're already taking notes in the chat, Itsu. I mean, this is absolutely incredible what they have coming in.
Yeah, it's really, really strong so far. It kind of feels like the same story as in our first match, right? Like with one of the teams just non-stop showing their presence, showing their pressure to the other team. And it's not easy. Like as soon as you're falling behind, you always have in the back of your head that this meta right now is supposed to be easy. You're kind of supposed to always 3-star, with the truth being that most likely it's only the top teams who follow this rule. Let's put it like this. And right now, again, you are behind with 2 stars. Percentage are not looking too great either. So it's really tricky to be in this position for Time to Throw. So I don't know really. Like, you don't really want to give those top teams those leads, but at this point, it kind of feels like it's always going to happen. So it really needs crazy defenses. And one thing which you were already mentioning, like those one-star defenses, but at the same time, we have seen only anti-3-star bases today so far. While last weekend we have seen a lot of anti-2-star bases, which were the only bases which were collecting those one-star defenses. So let's see if in later stages, maybe with Queen Walkers, all of them are pushing legends. Maybe they prefer to use some legend bases, but I don't know, something shifted from over this week, or maybe it's just the different teams which are in this stage of the tournament. But so far, everyone running those anti-3-star bases, and so far it has worked great for the favorites in those two matches so far.
It definitely has, and you see the 2-star differential, which speaks loads for them right now. But it's MSE Esports that is going strong, 3 for 3. Can they keep the streak alive and, dare I say it, pull in potentially a perfect war? We'll see. Batang was short of it, but it could be MSE Esports' chance. We do have iPro coming in for time to throw with the Queen charge. Drag Rider Loon, like, this is going to be a big push of the heroes, I suspect, coming into this, because we've got some Drag Riders to work along with the Lalo, which we actually have seen they can do some good work working inside, and sometimes even just being used to help take on Eagles on the outside edge of the base.
Yeah, but it's interesting to use that in a Queen charge. Like, typically you see that with the hero dive together, because Dragon Riders are so expensive, so you do not bring that many loons then in the mix, which is typically not the best thing with the kind of expensive Queen charge housing space wise. So it's going to be interesting how this is going to turn out with iPro taking down the tunnel with those sneaky goblins from the blimp, and now he's going to take down this lava hound with a minion protecting those healers, making sure the archers cannot take down or damage those healers too much. And, well, now he's using actually the Ground Warden. That might be a reason why he brought those Dragon Riders, because, well, they don't need the protection of the Warden as badly. So let's see how that's going to work now with the Warden ability and how much value he's going to get, because the Warden ability is great, but you need to get the value. Otherwise, the Warden investment is not the smartest choice.
Yeah, and it's looking good so far, and we do have those, you know, those Drag Riders to come in. The Loons can take out a small quadrant. The Town Hall has been taken down, so you don't have to worry as much. You can see the Drag Rider coming in from the 9 o'clock side, supporting the heroes, taking on those outlying defenses, which is actually perfect because it forces those heroes inside the base, and the Warden timing, perfect. Perfection. Royal Champ is able to save her ability to come through the scatter shot, which is going to be needed with the Skellies popping out, or he can drop the invisibility spell, but holds on to it to the very last second. Best way to do this is that, because you actually get a huge regenerative boost, almost 75% you get back on your Royal Champ. So always good to hold on to it if you can. And the Lalo, it's cleanup. There's no defenses. They're just, the Lalo's there for cleanup. Itsu.
What a beautiful attack this was. Really nicely done. Getting this entire left side done with just the heroes. So it was only one compartment pretty much with this Lalo, which you have to take down. So really, really amazing plan right there. Really cool idea as well with the supportive Dragon Riders. Seeing, okay, air defense positioning are not on that far left side. So we can use the Dragon Riders over there as supportive troop, as funnel troop as well, to push our king into the correct direction, because we have the Warden support over there. And with that, nothing was left, because he had so many spells left as well, like a Rage. I think it was 2 freezes as well, which he was able to use for that Lalo power. So that was just crazy. Really strong Lalo. And with that, they are one step closer maybe to have the hope of getting close to MSE Esports, because they are now up next. And they have the chance again to not only keeping their lead, but improving it again with collecting another 3-star.
Yeah, and I see in chat we have Shadow Devils Avenge saying that's why his name was iPro. Definitely living up to that name. So GG iPro. But they need more than this. They need the defenses. They were 2 stars behind. So they really need to step up their game and hope that they can have some defenses to hold back. We still have, I believe, Kingsman and Ariam to hit. Kingsman is known for his Queen Charge Hog Riders, but he's no one-trick pony. I know that they have their preferences, but we do see him with a little bit of variety. Today, he's actually switching it up, going in with the Hogs, but we've got some Queen Charge action to go along, and I'm noticing that we've got 2 rocket loons to come along. I wonder if this is going to help with the blimp that might sail its way in for that town hall there.
I'm just confused by the start. The healers were way too late and he's losing the Queen ability right away from the beginning. That's really not characteristic for him. He needs to be careful with that Queen. Another rage in the correct place means that Queen is going to survive, because this Queen now has no second chance, and he's actually charging in between. Oh, not charging in between of everything, because this Queen is going to backtrack, not going to go into the core. And this means he's now doing like a hero dive with healers on this far left side. The town at least is going down. The eagle is going down as well. But the Queen is not where she's supposed to be, which means this multi-fern tower was supposed to go down, but it's going to survive for at least now.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a pain for the Hogs. Might change up the way that he uses his spells or Warden ability coming into that, because we've got 2 multis now to worry about. One is one thing, but that spread is quite wide that he has, and not quite as well path as we'd want to see. So we've got the early Warden ability that's definitely needed to get past the defending Queen. Just watch and see where he places this only one heal spell, but hold up. We've got the Tornado Trap coming into it with the Skellies on tow, and he keeps it on the main pack. So Royal Champ was kind of the last line there. Loons maybe can try and help out, but they're also going to get picked off. And these are perfectly placed spring traps and air traps to try and hold back. But in the end, they get the multi down. Is there enough left over with this Queen and time, though, to finish off the job? With a minute 3, there seems to be.
Yeah, crazy attack with the Queen actually going the wrong way, but it seems like that was no problem whatsoever, because it's 50 seconds left. The King is on the far right side. We don't care about the King. The King is not protecting anything, so that is totally fine. With that Queen now and the Warden, should be able to deal enough damage to actually finish off this base with the invisibility spell as well if there's too much damage on that Queen. So things are looking great for a Kingsman, and yeah, he had a shaky start, but what a recovery with those heroes going all together. And you have to keep in mind, he somewhat swagged the Queen ability in the beginning with deploying the healers too late. So yeah, now he's able to not only swag the Queen ability, but as well the invisibility spell. So nice attack from Kingsman, showing off why Queen Charge Hog Riders sometimes can be a really good strategy if those spring traps are not placed accordingly. And that means another 3-star on the bank conto now for them as well, because they're up to 12 stars, which is crazy.
Yeah, dare I ask your call? Do you think it's going to be the perfect War Itsu?
Let's see. I mean, we never want to call that too early, but I feel like they are looking really, really good in this matchup with a 2-star lead and percentage lead, obviously, as well. So things are going to be really rough. I mean, there needs to be some crazy 1-star now if this should be maybe getting turned around. But I feel like this should be a safe bet for MSE Esports. Time to throw, though. Let's see what they're going to bring up. They have to 3-star if they want to have still at least the hope of having a chance of this comeback. So let's see if they're able to do that, and if they're going to finish on 13 stars as well. But I feel like the mark to beat today so far has been those 14 stars to make sure that you're having a really good shot at winning your matchup.
And, you know, with so many different strategies now, it's kind of difficult to defend these days, because I think even with baiting, you just never really know what's going to be the right approach. And I think a lot of teams have just found ways. They know that they could get super baited because we've seen it happen recently, so they're being ever so careful about it. But it's all about the recovery, as we just saw from Kingsman. That definitely makes a difference. Now we do have Ari coming in with the 5th and final attack for time to throw. Like you said, they need the 3-star to pull through to put them to 13 stars, but they would also need to hope for a 1-star to potentially carry. I'm sorry, 1-star to carry them through with it, because the most they can do is the 13 stars in this. So Flameflinger actually opening up a nice course, but what I love is the charge of the Queen through the center of the base into the centralized multi, and that King taking on the scatter shot. This Royal Champ can get huge value working behind him, especially since we have the CC troops coming out and that ground bow that keeps pinging away at the Queen.
Yeah, and he's not even waiting that much longer for his Lado to start. The Queen did her thing apparently, and she was able to charge in there. The Royal Champion though, is she getting? Yes, she's getting her ability off. The invisibility spell was too late, actually turning the single Inferno Tower now invisible, with Rocket Loons coming out of the Flameflinger. Warden ability getting used as well, but I am not sure if that's going to be enough power, because the only thing which he has left at this point is one haste spell. With the Royal Champion dropping early, this is going to be a rough time for that back end. The scatter shot is non-stop shooting. The multi-inferno tower went down. Actually, I think there's a base building mistake with the Queen being able to reach that multi-inferno tower, and that's at least great. But is this going to be enough? I mean, there's a lot of time. The headhunters.
He's alive.
Oh, perfectly timed. King should go down as well, and now it's only that scatter shot left alive.
Oh, and it's opened up. Queen's got access to it. Even if the Warden and the King can't do it, this Queen's got it under control. So yes, indeed, Ari is going to finish off strong with the 3-star here. And time to throw will pull in the 13 stars. Now, they are praying to the Clash gods, hoping for some sort of miracle that they can hold back Arium to a 1-star. But when you're in the position and you know all you need to do is get a 2-star, how do you miss that opportunity? Like, who would ever do that? Definitely not Arium.
It's always hard to tell, because, I mean, going for a safe 2-star is probably just like spamming Super Dragons into the Town Hall pretty much. But at the same time, it's, I don't know, those players are like really proud, and which means they always try to go for this 3-star, and I mean, sometimes it's a bit tricky. I mean, being the last attacker, yes, sometimes means a lot of pressure, but sometimes it means you just have to do your team duty. So let's see what he's going for, if it's going to be a Blizzard for the Town Hall to secure the 2nd star, or if it's going to be a different approach. But Arium should be a pretty safe attacker to get the 2nd star.
He definitely should be. You know, we've known him to be the finisher for most of their wars. So he's used to being in this situation, and it's not very often that we see, even under pressure, anything causing them problems. So I think we could, I honestly think we could potentially see a perfect war, not to jinx it, but I think they've just come in so strong, and I'm not sure that time to throw, while they had exceptional attacks, I don't think they had the mark defensively on what to bring in against MSE Esports today. Arium coming in with the Super Bowler Smash, though. And this, when we talk about certain style attacks that tend to be like those go-to 3-stars, this is one of them. It's also one of the faster of the Smash style attacks. So we can take a little time with the Ward and not worry about it too much. But we are going to start cutting across some of the paths so we can lead the blimp into the Town Hall and work our way through. But we'll want to pop that Warden timing just right so we can possibly clip the blimp in it in case there's any potential air traps along the way.
Yeah, and I feel like it's really important as well for him that there is no bitter huts around this bottom side, because Warden Walks actually kind of like got a secret nerf, if you want to call it like this, with the bitter hut buff as well, because the bitter huts always were a big opponent versus those Warden Walks, because they were able to delay this Warden Walk for so long to cause a lot of time fail. So now the question is, how is this going to work? Right now, though, it's looking like he's actually forcing the Queen inside this channel towards the Town Hall. Really surprising, because there's the blimp going. I feel like the Super Bowlers started way too early, because, as I said, the Queen now walking into this this LA at the same time, though, those boulders at the top side do not have any healers. I am not sure how that's going to go. The jump spare, though, is leading everything back together. But still, those super boulders are taking a lot of damage.
They definitely are, and you really need them. These are a pretty strong troop, and that's why we see more and more of them. We often see them last through to the end of the war. This jump, is it just making the cusp here to get in to that eagle compartment? I'm hoping, well, the Royal Champ doesn't need it, so it's kind of swagged on that end. But could have been used to actually help the Queen try and break her way through a little bit deeper. So we'll see what we can do with this for Arium. They know they have the win. They had the 2-star advantage, so the 2-star was definitely all that was needed in order to get the job done here. But it would be nice as a team for them to finish off with the perfect war. I'm sure that's what they're kind of looking forward to at this point.
Yeah, I feel like with what spells he has left as well, and the placement with that jump, I feel like this was supposed to be a 3-spell, or it was more like, okay, I cannot 3-star anyways, 2-star is enough anyway, so whatever. But yeah, this is going to fall short to a perfect war. It's going to be the 14-13, the same result which we have seen already in our first match. And with this percentage being kind of low at the end, actually, time to throw even being closer percentage-wise. But this does not matter, because in the end, stars are more important than percentage. And that's a nice win for MSE Esports, with overall a really close matchup.
Absolutely. And Rusty is already sneaking in. You know, he crashed our last stream together, Itsu, I think, for Queso Cup, and it looks like he's trying to crash our ClashMSTRS stream. I told you he's going for every golden ticket event he possibly can, wants to be the mascot here. But yeah, this is a beautiful victory for MSE Esports. Time to throw coming close. So again, we're seeing these 14-13 star wars with these teams. The teams that are coming in as the quote unquote underdogs are actually doing rather well, just missing the mark slightly, but that's why they're here. That is why they've made it this far. So kudos to them. But why don't we actually take a look at the bracket and see what we have coming up next, because this is the match that I'm super excited for. We do see that for tomorrow, Batang advances on, and they will face off against MSE Esports, but we've got Queen Walker Stephanie coming up next, and they're facing off against BPT. And Itsu, I'm going to tell you, do not underestimate BPT, because they had a phenomenal run this week to get here. Queen Walkers, we were seeing kind of like starting to do consistently well, then a couple of wars that we weren't quite so sure about, but BPT finished off very strong. So, you know, I know, I'm pretty sure you would say Queen Walkers is the favorite here. Would you agree?
Yes.
But BPT has Soham, and I think you know Soham from the Soham style attack. So that could be something interesting to watch for sure. But I think we're going to take a short break, and we will be right back with that match. So hang tight, and we will see you guys in just a few minutes. So stay tuned, go grab a drink, and we'll see you in 5. Welcome back to Clash Masters Gold Edition powered by Rush.gg. We are halfway through the matches for today with a lot of excitement, high scoring wars, and the best is still yet to come. We've got Queen Walkers still ready to go against BPT Esports. I'm Lady B, joined by Itsu. So let's take a quick look, Itsu, at the rosters that we have for this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, on the left side, we have familiar names with Queen Walker's Stephanie, Kazuma, Stars, Klaus, Gaku, and Yuta are coming in versus a team which you are hyping up quite a bit, BPT Esports, and I cannot wait to see how they're going to perform.
Yeah, this I'm excited to see how they're going to fare against Queen Walker. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in this matchup, but it is going to be very exciting, at least what we saw from the qualifiers earlier this week. I hope I'm not overhyping it. I hope I have this right, that this is exactly going to be the match that I expect it to be. And we have Gaku first to hit here for Queen Walkers with the Queen Charge Flame Flinger Drag Rider.
Yeah, and he's switching things up. With the Dragon Riders are not as popular anymore because it feels like the last update hit them quite hard, because Queen Charge Lalo is not getting affected too much by stronger air defenses or even stronger black mines. On the other side though, Dragon Riders are suffering quite a bit, so interesting choice right here. And we have one of our first legend bases of the day coming in actually, so that's interesting, especially versus a team like Queen Walkers, where so many people are like trophy pushing, right? Like Gaku obviously is pushing, Kazuma is doing insane with his Queen Charge Ladder attacks, we have Klaus, we have Stars, all of them are pushing, so let's see how that's going to work for BPT Esports. But first things first, the Queen Charge entry is looking great. Now the question is, how is he going to place the jump? Is he going to try to place it that he can only get to the Town Hall, or is he going to place it that he can take down the Eagle as well? We have to wait and see.
I think it's a little risky to put it on the Eagle because it does cause too much distraction for the Queen. That would be my assumption here. But we do have the Royal Champ actually crossing over, and there we go. He does bypass getting to that Eagle. But what I do like is that the Royal Champ's going to help out with the scatter shot, limiting the damage coming in for the Queen. And we've got the Stone Slammer to actually handle the Eagle, which is a great starting position coming in to join up with those Drag Riders who do have a wide spread. So I expect to see some Loons and an additional Drag Rider coming out of this.
Yeah, this looks really strong.
Oh, she's there.
Yeah, I mean, the Queen has her ability. Yeah, but the Queen has her ability, so that should be alright. And the big problem is there's no Signifer Tower backend, there's no Eagle, no defending Queen or Royal Champion, so things are looking really good for Gaku, even though his Queen is now about to drop. But with that rage, he should be able to power through as long as there's not a crazy amount of black mines, which at this point should not even matter, because 1, 2, 3, 4, is it 5 Dragon Riders are left alive at this point? That's just too many for this base to handle.
It really is, yeah. I mean, even if that Queen hadn't gone down, I think there would have been a safety net there. Just saw those healers getting pushed back, and it looked a little hairy about her getting in. But we dropped the invisibility spell on the defending king just to ensure that we get the straight path coming into the storage, not wasting any time. Gaku coming in with a nice, clean, fresh start here with the 3 stars. You would expect nothing less from Queen Walker Stephanie. So let's see how BPT actually responds to this, because it's a lot of pressure when you're facing off against one of the top teams. This is the Vice World Champions twice over, 2 years in a row. They won Vice Champion in 2020 and Vice Champion in 2021. So this is a team that, you know, everyone has it out for, but no one seems to be able to quite take down very often.
Yeah, they're an incredible scary team, and you saw that with that Queen Charge opening from Gaku. He's so good at finding those good Queen Charges, and he's always so flexible with the follow-up. Like, he would do whatever as follow-up. Like, if it's Lalo, it's fine. If it's Dragon Rider, as he just did, it's fine as well, because he just knows, he knows what is the best follow-up in this specific case, and that's so impressive to me. Like, always picking the right army composition, while some others would have maybe just pivoted towards Lalo, because Queen Judge Lalo is just overall stronger in a lot of eyes. And I mean, I can fully understand that Queen Judge Lalo is stronger in general than Queen Judge Dragon Riders, but for this specific base it was great. And we have the next attack coming in with Stars trying to defend, and we have Cadiel with his Queen Charge Hybrid, one of the highest Queen Charge Hybrid legend players out there. So let's see how he's going to hopefully, or maybe not, take down this base and see how that's going to work.
And I believe Cadiel is actually a streamer himself, if I'm not mistaken. So I would imagine he's used to some pressure here, and he's seen quite a few bases as he does stream. So coming in with that Queen Charge straight through, but the hybrid is the interesting part, because we've got to work our way through into the core of the base to the Town Hall. But what this is going to do is shape up a beautiful course to get around the outside edges of the base and narrow out the pathing. We talk about that for Lalo with spells and the radius of it, but it's even more important for things like hybrids, where the heal spell radius definitely needs to be able to make maximum value and get that cut across. So you need to limit it down. But dropping this early is actually going to ideally, ideally force the Queen into the Town Hall compartment. She should come back in, but I think she's going to get distracted by some of these other items on the outside edge. Maybe not.
There's now rocket loons coming out of this, vulnerability in place, but the Queen is still, like, taking so much damage. The pathing is great, but the third tower is dealing quite some damage, but the Town Hall though has to fall as well. What a wonderful freeze, catching the multi, catching the defending Queen as well. And with that, it's looking good to take down that Town Hall, but the question is, can he overpower the back end as well? Because this giant bomb from the Town Hall is taking down a lot of those hybrid troops.
Yeah, the giant bombs, the poison bomb. Queen needs to carry this one along, but we've got that King just now using his ability, Wizards following, working on the cleanup on the outside edge. He's got a minute left. He also has an invisibility spell to help out this Queen. It's a scatter shot that's the biggest threat. Ooh, and we've got some loons. Ooh, for the single targeting Inferno. If they can make their way there, no, they can't. So this Queen is going to rely on the invisibility spell and her power, but there are openings in the walls once she breaks through this compartment, and it looks like the King is going to come in for back end support.
Oh, Queen ability, just make sure that she's not dying for her ability. There we go. Queen ability is used, and now he needs to make sure that this Queen is staying alive, and especially not a time fail. It's 20 seconds. There should be no skeleton traps, to be honest, since the hybrid already was around this area. So now the King is going to finish off this storage with the Queen together. In 10 seconds, Cadiel is showing why exactly he is playing Queen Charge Hybrid in Legends. Like I said, he's one of the highest Queen Charge Hybrid attacker out there in Legends, and is showing that off how to attack those really annoying anti-2-star bases with those hybrid troops. So really nicely done. And this means it's all tied up. 3-3 after the first few attacks, but there's a lot still to follow.
Yeah, there really is, but I really got to commend Cadiel, because that turnaround with the Queen potentially like wreaking havoc, not going in the direction he wanted, the delay on it, losing out the entire hybrid, and being able to hold that King and the Queen with her ability and the spells to make enough out of it. Having a single on the back end and something like that is not an easy position, so the patience paid off. And like you said, if this is what he's using in Legends Leagues, he's learning to adapt with it, I'm sure, just adjusting what he's going in with it, which is kind of the best situation to be in. We talk about players that can be predictable or one-trick ponies, but in a way, it can almost do you some good.
Yeah, and I just feel like, I mean, something which Queen Walkers always does, because they're getting strained so much, is that they just like to as well run their legend bases. So I highly doubt that they are adjusting their traps so much, like anti-hybrid, anti-headhunters, things like that. So I'm not really sure if that's really how they approach those matches. I feel like they are mainly a team which is concentrated on offense, and that's why they're so good, because it's so hard to defend them on a low score. But let's see what Stars does. It's Queen Charge Lalo, Blizzard Lalo, one of his strongest attacks which he has, and he's starting things off with a good Blizzard. I think he looted out the entire clan castle so far, so things are looking really good for him. So now the thing is, where is he going to play his heroes, and how much is he going to get with that top side looking really nice to take down with the zero dive.
Yeah, we've got the open access, but the queen would need to be forced into it. Everything's been cleared out, so it's not going to happen there. I mean, the most important thing when we're doing Lalo is to try and limit as many multi-targeting infernos and air defenses, any of that splash item area you really want to take down. With the Royal Champion actually cutting across, this could force the Queen to come into the center of the base and try and work her way through. But I think the timing was just slightly off and the Queen is forcing in, but everything's basically reachable. And this might give the Royal Champ the opportunity with the invisibility spell to cut in and take on one, maybe two multis, especially if this king can beat through the wall and allow the Queen to assist.
Yeah, and that's already great value, because the only sweeper at this point is pointing towards that bottom side, and if he can take down that defending king, that means that his headhunters should have an easy way and get access to that defending Royal Champion. So let's see how that's going to work. Headhunters are running across in front of the Warden, so we cannot catch them with the Warden ability. The next Headhunter is coming in. This one has to survive to take down that defending Royal Champion, but with so many loons left alive, things are looking not too bad. But he's skipping that multi-inferno tower just for a couple of seconds. And I don't know how he's doing that. Where are those loons coming from? Suddenly coming for this multi-inferno tower in the core. And I mean, this is just completely not understandable for me. It's so insane. It just feels like that he has a controller in his hand and can like just control where those loons are going. Another overkill, and just in the Stars style, I guess, again with 1,000 swag spells, that's what he likes to do.
Yeah, I mean, he is well versed in Lalo. Stars is known for his Lalo attacks, and this is exactly why. I think I've seen him fail maybe once or twice in a lifetime, and a beautiful turnaround with this attack. So much value out of those heroes, and I do want to point out that freeze that they did drop on the defending king, which actually really helped save the king and the queen working together alongside those loons. But like you said, it's almost like, you know, those poker players who have like cards up their sleeves that they just like keep coming out. I think Stars might be the same thing. All of a sudden it's like, oh, here's more loons. Here's more loons. When you thought he dropped them all, there's more coming out from somewhere.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, after like we did a video, I did a video on his legend attacks, and when I watched those, I was like, damn, that looks so cool. I want to try Blizzard Lalo in the legend as well. And everyone was just like saying, okay, don't try it. Blizzard Lalo in the legend right now is way too hard. It's way too tricky. Don't do it. But when you watch the attacks of Stars, you're like, wait, why is it too hard? This looks so easy. But I tried it and they were right. Okay, let's put it like this. They were right. It's really hard. But we have the next attack coming in with Mass Hog Rider attack, it seems to be, from Soham. So, oh no, he actually did not get that scatter, and that's something he really wanted to go for. But those rocket loons really obliterated those Yeti mites.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. I mean, the one good thing is that the queen won't take the damage from it, but we've got the baby drags to actually help with the cleanup. So that's going to be a huge lost value, especially with the investment of the rage. That's a lot lost in this one, and we'll see how he's going to adjust for it. Those splash damage items with hogs, just as they are with loons, really do pack a pretty nasty punch. So that's what he's got to worry about the most. And with this AD up right now, Drag Rider's going to go down and not really going to be able to help out too much. Oh, Queen getting the opening though. She might come in and bypass. We can work the king. Is there enough power? He's got an invisibility spell he can use and try and get this town hall, but the queen turns back around. Royal Champ's actually going to take care of it. So we are going to clear out this entire compartment, and I don't know this is exactly what he wanted to use. Often we want our Royal Champ working along with the hogs to help out, especially with some defending heroes surrounding.
I mean, you can still use the Royal Champ with the invisibility spell. That was great. Making sure that core multi-inferno tower is going down. What an awesome way of using that Royal Champion. And now it's all about this grouped up Hog Rider part. The heal spells coming in. He has no heal spells left anymore. And I feel like that was supposed to be a Royal Champion trick or something. Because with those lightnings and earthquakes, I feel like he wanted to take down the multi-inferno towers. Or overall the inferno towers in the core. But there's so many spring... Oh my god, I didn't know Hog Riders can fly. But those Hog Riders, that was not fun for them at all. Like, those spring traps hit hard.
Yeah, flying hogs, never what you want. Bacon, even less, although it's pretty tasty. All we have now is a little bit of cleanup, and unfortunate for Soham because this percent is going to be low. We're looking at another situation where we have the, I guess, the underdog just falling slightly short from the team that just tends to be in the limelight, the favorite. So it's a bit tough. And I am surprised that we didn't see Soham come in with his own attack strategy. But he did think that this was going to be the right approach coming into the space. Unfortunately, not the case for it. And, you know, this would not have been a great one for the Soham based on where the town hall was and all the surrounding troops. But I wonder if there are any bases that would have been for him, or if maybe Queen Walkers thought about that and didn't want to give quite that much value to a team that actually made that attack.
Yeah, I just feel like it was a... like after not getting that first scatter shot, it was just like things going not his way overall. Yes, he did really great adjustments with like the invisibility spell and taking down the scatter shot with his Royal Champion, but the overall plan was for sure to take down the core Inferno Towers with the Royal Champion trick. He had the lightnings, he had the earthquakes, so that was for sure the plan. But the single Inferno Tower staying up, and as I said again, not taking on the scatter shot with his blimp in the beginning was the biggest problem for him, and then he just tried to come back, readjust, but it was just not possible for him. So overall, nice try, but as you said, percentage-wise, this is now a huge favor for Queen Walkers, because so far they are 2 out of 2, looking good on stars, looking good on percentage as well. So now the question is, who is going to come up next for them, because they have, I think, Kazuma left, they have Klaus left, and they have Utah still left to attack. So they're in next, and Kazuma, the Queen Charge Lalo goat himself, is in onto this base from Romeo.
And Kuzuma's been a really nice addition to the team. We've seen him with these beautiful Queen Charge Lalos, but also a versatile attacker. But this is what we love to see out of him. Shaping up what we need to force the Queen along inside this Town Hall compartment, but quite just misses that cannon. We'll see if she has the bait to go in. No, she doesn't. So what do we have? We've got 5 super wall breakers. She can actually bypass around, work her way back through, and get into the space. So it doesn't actually matter too much that she didn't get on the inside. We can still get a nice bypass. And oh, there we go. She actually does turn back around. But let's see how he handles it from this point. What I do notice, though, is that opening in the core of the base, getting to the single, while that's not an issue for the Loons, it could clear out a nice path for the Lalo to eliminate that.
Yeah, I feel like this was definitely not the plan to get into that compartment already that early. Now he has to readjust, but that's another thing which we talked about with Legend being so popular for a lot of those players. Adjusting your attacks and trying to figure out how to save those attacks is becoming so normal for a lot of those players, and especially being a huge fan of his Legend attacks. Like, he has a YouTube channel as well, which you should definitely check out, with crazy Lalo attacks, and just how he's able to recover his attacks and how he's able to play those heroes is always impressing me. So let's see if the next few wall breakers are going to get the connection towards the clan castle. But there's already the first red bomb. That's typically a really bad sign, because all of those red bombs are behind the town hall. This means dead healers, and that's never a nice queen charge. To do a queen charge without healers. So let's see how the Lalo is going to look like, because he's slowly approaching that core with a Royal Champion getting targeted by just this multitasking. This is impressive. Really nicely done so far.
That Royal Champ coming in, taking on the single. The reason that that's better, but we see exactly why, is because you want her there to take out any of the defenses, any of the items, so those Loons don't pick up the traps. But for now, the Warden's actually absorbing them, so the Queen is going to be fine. And we have this Stone Slammer coming in, tanking for the scatter shot, going to open up. He's got so much time left over to finish this, and a Queen ability, and 3 freezes and a base. And I don't, well, yeah, it's going to open up. With the Wizard Tower there, it is going to open up, but almost swagging the entire CC, but complete swag with the Queen ability and those remaining spells. This is why Kazuma has been a massive addition for the team, definitely coming in focused and strong as their 6th player to the lineup.
Yeah, and I can just repeat it again. I really highly recommend you guys check out his YouTube channel. It's just Kazuma COC, I think something like that. He's uploading his daily legend videos, and I think that's one of the only Clash of Clans YouTube videos which I'm watching at the moment. It's super fun, it is impressive, and it's crazy how many times he's actually swagging this amount of spells. Like I typically only see that maybe from stars in his Blizzard Lalo attacks, or he's getting crazy Blizzard value and then just swagging half of his spells. But he's doing that on a regular basis with the Queen Charge Lalo. Really, really impressive. And as I said, great addition to the team. And that was the plan B. That was the plan B. I mean, that was not his original plan even, and he's still able to swag that much. So crazy, really crazy. But now back to BPT Esports. We now have to wait what they are coming up with, because they need to stay close. They need now to 3-star as well to make sure that they're not giving too big of an advantage to Queen Walker Stephanie.
Yeah, we'll see if they can overcome the 2-star from Soham and try and turn that around, but they do need to see a solid defense in as well. Opting to go for the Hydra here, we do have the Dragons and Drag Riders starting off with the heroes on the outside edge. King working along, just need to see that Queen working inside with the King and not working with the Dragons. It looks like she wants to pull, but she should go. Oh, she is. She's gonna mess this up too. Queen's gonna do what Queen's gonna do, which means we don't get the full value of the cleanup on the outside edge of the base. But the most important thing is the splint that sails across. We've got we've got the Blizzard coming in for it. Rage up. We've got the invisibility spells down, but are we gonna get the Drag Riders and the Dragons to actually bypass that poison bomb is the biggest question, especially since we're losing out on the Queen.
Yeah, he actually flew way too close to the tunnel with that blimp. Like, that was a big surprise. There was not even the tornado trap rotating the Super Wizards into that Town Hall explosion. Instead, the Blizzard was just from the beginning way too close, and now everything is relying on that Royal Champion. But with already forcing the Royal Champion ability, things are not looking too great right now for the attacker. So I don't know, maybe with just some miracle air attack magic, but I'm not really sure. The air defense is shooting non-stop. It's going to survive, and there's only 2 Inferno Dragons left alive, and I don't see this being a 3-star, which means another defense for Queen Walker Stephanie. Being not only strong on offense, but on defense as well is something which is impressive. We have already mentioned that with the Tang. Our Queen Walkers seem to do the same thing again.
Yeah, a big problem there is you do rely a lot on your heroes to help out with taking on the outside edge of the base. So they have enough power to work towards the bottom side. Those dragons are reliant upon taking out the core of the base, and the heroes, you know, working to the outside edge. When that queen crosses over and works in, she's taking on some damage automatically for the dragons. You're losing out the ability, and then she's landlocked in those walls, wasting time away as she's already taken on damage, and you get absolutely nothing out of her. So there's really not enough support when that happens. You have to be very careful about your placement, and that is unfortunately another mistake that could be very costly now that we are 3-3 with the attacks coming in, but a 2-star advantage for Queen Walkers.
Yeah, and percentage as well. Like you have talked about, I think it was Soham with his attack, where the percentage were not really great after the Fate entry blimp. So he did a great job of recovering the attack overall, but just the percentage was falling short quite a bit, and we can see it in the current standing: 100% on the one side, 88% only on the other side, which is not an optimal way to go. So it's going to be really hard not only to recover the stars, but as well to recover the percentage. So overcoming both of those two things is going to feel nearly impossible. But let's see if they can somehow make it. Next attack is going to be Queen Walkers again, and they have to somehow get a fail to somehow have a chance of like throwing the match away pretty much, because they are so far in the lead. And watching the other attacks so far, swagging spells left and right, I don't really see that happening at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't. Queen Walkers know that they want to hold on to the advantage that they have. They are in the top ranking of the brackets of the leaderboard overall with points, as they are one of 3 teams to actually make a second round through. And they don't want to lose their spot or have to find their way in getting knocked out, which I think would be very unlikely that they would get knocked out, because I think they have 15 points on the board already. But it's you just don't want to risk it. They know it's on the line for them. The other teams coming in that don't have this have less pressure on their shoulders, so really feel they don't feel as much that they need to get this done to ensure that they can get into the playoffs easily. So we do have Klaus coming in usual fashion. This is basically what we almost always get to see in the lineup for Queen Walkers. Klaus coming in 4th. And opting to go for the Queen Charge, Log Launcher, Lalo, but we only have 16 loons, and we need some of these loons to come in, as you can see, for the Coco Loon, which means we're using a lot of power for the hero. So the Warden comes in alongside of the King. We're looking to break through the core of the base, and we need to get to that Town Hall, because I can't imagine there's no way he can Lalo that Town Hall. So that Log Launcher's got to open up that full course and get access going into it, as there is no jump.
Yeah, he's going to try to... Sorry?
I said unless he's got like a wall. I remember when we had the days of the wall wrecker and the wall breakers. I've yet to see actually like a Log Launcher and a wall break to ensure an opening in the base.
But yeah, that's actually right now the classic approach. Oh, the healers going away. But what I wanted to say, that's the classic approach right now in Legends, bringing 2 Yeti and a wall breaker in your Log Launcher. But yeah, he got the connection with the super wall breaker on his own, getting that Town Hall. Has used the invisibility spell to secure that Town Hall. Another freeze just to make sure, and with that the Town Hall is going down, and now he has the Lado on this far right side. The big problem though is that scatter shot. Like, that's the important thing to take down. Let's see if he's going to use that rage. There it goes. The defending King is approaching that Warden, so the Warden is not going to survive for any longer. Now he needs to make sure that he's dropping the Wizard at the top side, luring those healers into their defense. Come on, Klaus. Lure the healers in. Yes, there we go. Making sure that he's able to tank with those healers, but I feel like we're a little bit too late, but maybe it's still going to work with the loons closing in. Yes, it's going to be enough loons. Healers is going... Yeah, they're going to protect the Wizard at the top side. And that means another 3-star for Queen Walkers, for Klaus. Nicely done.
Yeah, this is beautiful work here, especially losing those healers off the Queen. Queen got just what she needed to take down the Town Hall. And you're right, that Log Launcher got open just what it needed to anyway, because you can reach. You've got that reachable section there, but the Queen bypassing through definitely helped out with that. So Queen Walker's in a great position when Klaus is coming in with the 4th 3-star on the board. How do you stop that? We've had 14 to 13 twice over. We're kind of in the same position, but Yuta is a player that is usually used to being under pressure as the 5th attacker. But we haven't seen a perfect war yet, so I'm not banking on it. I'm almost banking on another 14, 13-star war. This seems to be the theme of the day.
Yeah, we had already a couple of results with that score, so let's see if it's going to be history repeat. But so far, yeah, Queen Walkers looking unstoppable. They are again on the road to 15 stars, the same thing as MSE Esports before them. But now BPT Esports really needs to get some 3 stars in, even though I have to say I don't really see this comeback happening. They have to 3-star twice. And then Queen Walkers definitely have to fail with their last attack, which is unlikely, let's put it this way. But let's see, maybe there's the chance. We have another Queen Charge Lalo coming in another time with the Log Launcher. So let's see if that Log Launcher charge is going to work into that single Fenn tower behind the Town Hall.
Yeah, Queen in a good spot here, just taking on a little bit of damage from that scatter shot and a couple of surrounding items. Wizard taking on that ground bow, but a nice rage down. This is actually going to force that loon in a little bit deeper and quicker to try and pick up traps, but it doesn't. so we might need to send in more. Again, we have that similar approach from Romeo, so we'll see how deep we're going to pull in with this one. That log launcher to open up the course for the Queen to actually go straight to the town hall. Oh, this is looking mighty fine, but needs to have the right combination of troops inside. We see a couple. Hold up. Freezes up the Rocket Loon. This gives the Queen plenty of time to slow things down, and a nice combination with the poison as well, which actually went right over top those Rocket Loons and on the super minions.
Yeah, but now he has ice golems in there, which are always scary to use because he's now always running the risk of the healers actually switching away from that Queen, especially with that sweeper. Oh no, we have a couple of healers switching already. The sweeper is really not helping him. Another rage. So far, a couple of healers are staying close to that Queen, but with that Royal Champion in the core, she should be able to take down at least the multi-inferno tower. That's something, but the Queen going down is huge. Right there for the defender side.
Yeah, I'm surprised because I don't see what these golems would have done. The Loon and healer combination would have been maybe a much better choice, especially with all those red air bombs there. It would have kept the Queen alive, keeping them focused on her, dropping a rage and keeping it going. So for now, these ice bombs are at least tanking for the back end, but not necessarily where it needs to be. We'll see as these Loons make the approach coming in. He's got no more spell support, and the Loons are dropping like flies. There's only so much these ice golems can do. I honestly think from Romeo, this was just a matter of a bad call on what was in his CC. This would have gotten so much further with the healer combination.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like, healers inside that Clan Castle would have been really, really great, especially combined with that jump, because this means he did not really had to worry about those about this core multi-inferno tower, because the Royal Champ and King were really guaranteed to take it down. So surprising decision when it's coming down to the Clan Castle filling, but either way it's going to be another defense, and with that the match is pretty much done. But we are all waiting for what Yuta can do for Queen Walkers in his last attack, and if yeah, they can get the perfect war, the one score you were searching for. So let's see if it's going to happen in this match.
Yeah, we'll see if that turns around. That we have not seen yet, that perfect war. Yuta, again, he's a player that's used to being under pressure. Unfortunate that they weren't able to pick up the 3-star in that one, but we could potentially see, I don't want to say a blowout match, but a 15-star war is definitely pretty impressive. And to hold them back to 12 stars, knowing that, you said it earlier, Queen Walkers don't necessarily worry so much about their defenses as they do their offense. And this is where you really see it. Like, their offense has been absolutely solid. Yeah, I don't even a 1-star wouldn't help in this situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, especially I'm surprised, like in the beginning it was looking like we would see a legend basis versus legend basis, but then it turned around to this. We have only until 3-star basis, it looks like. So really interesting decision making from the teams, with the next Queen Charge Lalo coming in, using a couple of Rocket Loons to help the funnel in the beginning, make sure the Queen has no other way to go than to this bottom side. And take a look at that. Maybe this Baby Dragon is even going to take down this Eagle. That is just crazy. The Rage is in place as well. Question now, though, is the Queen going to keep this pathing into the bottom side? The wall break is right there. The Queen is looking into the Eagle compartment, but no. The Eagle should be taken down now with a couple of runes. What is this opening? This already looks crazy from Yuta.
Yeah, this is beautiful. That Baby Drag did some excellent work in allowing the Loon to sneak in, able to take it on, and get this Queen charging through the center of the base. I mean, he's living up to the name, Queen Walkers. He's Queen walking very, very nicely. We've got one additional super wall breaker as well, which I'm curious to see how he's going to place this if he wants to actually dive all the way deeper in. I mean, he's going to have to get to this town hall, and we have no jump to get it. Oh, there we go. We've got the log launcher to cross over, open up the path, and look at the position. This is going to open up the access to the king to actually get his passage into the town hall, as well as it's hitting exactly on those corner compartments.
Yeah, that can be sometimes a good but as well a bad thing, because with opening so much, you have less control overall. Like, let's put it that way, like where your Queen is going. We have a few more ground troops in there as well, so let's see how that's going to work. At the same time, Lalo is starting already from the top side. You do not want to time fail. He's already at 1 minute and 10 seconds, so time is ticking non-stop. Rocket Loon for their defense on the far right side, but he's going against the Sweeper. The Sweeper is really a big problem. While the Queen is fighting versus the King, there's the invisibility spell. But the Town Hall is still staying up, and the Multi-Inferno Tower, nothing took that out. So, Royal Champion now engaging versus that, and finally the Multi-Inferno Tower is gone.
Yeah, I mean, that Queen lost all benefit of the Ice Golem that came out of the CC. It was like perfectly lined up, but she was in tangles with the King and lost out that value. But Itsu, I mean, I don't think it's going to matter too much. He's got the Queen ability. As long as there's no, I don't know how much health is on those healers. I think they've been safe so far. So as long as there aren't too many red air bombs that we're starting to see crop up, she could potentially do this. We've got 2 minions, but we need to take the air defenses and archers down. Oh, we've got a lot of archer towers around still to worry about. So there's only so much that the minions can do. And even popping that Queen ability now, it is not going to be quite enough time. Maybe I jinxed it and hoping for the perfect war and expecting it to come in from them, but it is a 14-star war. That seems to be the cap. And this almost means going into tomorrow's matches, you're going to have to get 15 stars to win.
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously the number all of those teams are aiming for, but it was so close yet so far. Really nice attack overall. Just this defending Barbarian King having something against that. Yuta is going home with the 3rd star. Really unfortunate, but this means we're going to see one more time. Now another attack from BT. I'm always messing up the name. BPT Esports. I don't know why it's so hard for me. I'm really sorry. But yeah, we're going to see one more attack from them. So let's see if they're going to come to the 12 stars, which you mentioned earlier.
Yeah. It would be nice for them to finish off strong. You always want to see that in, you know, in these single elimination matches. Just get those stars in and showcase exactly why you made it here, because they had such a beautiful run. I saw some perfect wars from them during the week, this week, with the qualifiers to get the teams into these open qualifiers. Now we do have Riak as a final hitter. I think many of you might remember him formerly from Tampanai. And playing in actually a bunch of different teams. So now part of BPT. And opening this one up with the Queen Charge. Those heroes look like they're mighty deep in the corner, out of harm's range. Yes, they are. But we've got the Lalo to help work this through. But it looks like we've got the Quake for the Expo and the single targeting Inferno, that 6-1 combo, which is going to help out the Queen quite a bit. But we need to path her into this town. Oh, King's already on it. Ooh, this Queen's going to get some extra value coming through the space.
Yeah, but already losing a healer early on. Like, there was an outside black man, which means there is 1 healer already down. So let's see if there are any further black mans on the outside or on the way of those healers. Queen is so far not looking like she would step inside. Let's see if that's going to change. She has to be careful with the defending Royal Champion. The funnel at the bottom side was done, so really nice sneaky goblin right there, and with that the Queen is actually stepping to that Multi-Inferno Tower. So far so good. Where is the Queen supposed to go? That's the big question, because he's trying to funnel the bottom side, which is telling me that he does not want to have the Queen looping around the outside. But at the same time, I'm kind of confused, because this King is just obliterating that Royal Champion, so I'm not sure if the value of the Royal Champ was that great. At the same time, there is no more wall breaks, or there's no wall breaks overall in general, so this Queen is going to be stuck for quite some time, with the Lado now starting from the 9 o'clock side.
Yeah, starting from that 9 o'clock side, we've got a good path. We've got the Warden holding off that ability as we make the approach to the Queen. So trying to get those headhunters clipped in to take her on, but we still have to worry about the scatter shot. So holding on to that freeze for it to work its way through. And we've got the multi to still worry about, but the Queen beats her way through the wall to actually take it on. Can she take it down fast enough is a question, and hold off. Some back-end loons are going to help with a little added distraction, and the Queen actually has an opening to the outside edge of the base.
Yeah, but the scatter shot, and it's like we have the time again. Like, time was a big factor for a lot of those players today, and this seems to be the lowest score of the day. The Queen I mean, you already said it. We really need that Wallbreaker Queen skin. Carbon as well posted his ideas how to promote it, how to design it, how to everything about the Wallbreaker Queen, how he is imagining the Wallbreaker Queen, and this means it is not going to be a 3-star. I think he force quit the app, which is quite unfortunate because we're getting this loading screen, but still 11 stars actually overall for BPT Esports versus Queen Walkers with 14 stars.
Yeah, this is not the way they wanted to end it after a very good run this week, but kudos to them. Taking on the Queen Walker Stephanie is not an easy task. They can say they held up as best they could, got some trips in, and at the end of the day, if you're going to get bested by Queen Walkers, you still made it. You still got into the qualifiers to play against Queen Walkers, so that's something to say. But we've got one more matchup to go, and if we take a look at the brackets, we can take a look and see another team that actually is already placed on the leaderboard. So we've had 3 teams that are on the leaderboard playing twice already with scores. That was Vatang, Queen Walker Stephanie, and now Cutie Fenn. So we've got Vatang that's moving forward. So they have the opportunity tomorrow to try and pick up some big stars and keep their stake in the top level. They're going to face off against MSE Esports, which is their first run here. Queen Walker Stephanie now waiting to see who they're going to face off against, and Cutie Fenn is one of those teams. So this could be interesting. But Black Magic actually is also one of those teams on it. So we've got 4 teams actually in contention here. So this could switch things up. I don't know if we can get confirmation where if we have time for a quick look at the leaderboard to see where Cutie Fenn and Black Magic sit, but this could be a very interesting match. So Black Magic with 9 points, and it's Cutie Fenn that's up there with 12 points. So if Black Magic come in, they could really switch things around with the win. So this is getting a little bit more interesting. So why don't we take a look at the player rosters now and talk about who we have for each side momentarily.
Yeah, that's always the most fun thing about those about the last qualifier, when we have this system with those points collecting, because there's so many things which can always change. Like, since not like obviously the top 4 spots point wise is the most important thing, but there can be so many small changes with points. Okay, there's 1 point missing there if that team is going to win, but if that team is going to lose, then, and it's so many cool interactions over there. And as you mentioned, we have so many teams in this last qualifier which already have collected points over the last 2 weeks. So it's even more important for them to get even further in this bracket to actually pick up those additional points. And obviously with coming up with our next match, then having 2 more teams which already gained points and which are pretty much fighting for this position directly in this playoff spot. So that's like the cool thing. But I think, as you said as well, we should take a look at the rosters and take a look at the players who are going to fight for those points right there. Cutie Fenn, we have Kylie, we have Young, Doug, Ferries, Calvin, and Zuro versus the roster of the Black Magic.
Yeah, so the Black Magic roster consists of Mohammed, Tashan, we've got Mushtaba, Tangsu, and Pablo. So this is going to be a fun one to see how they handle against Cutie Fenn. And who can actually get the win moving forward, because, you know, getting knocked out of this now means you're left with a point. So if Black Magic comes in, they're going to take that big jump over Cutie Fenn potentially. So this is, you know, this is what we want to see. We want to see teams. We want to see new teams in the mix, but we also want to see these teams fighting really, really hard to get those scores up. That's the point of it, is to get back in it, try and knock people out. Top 4 obviously is where you want to be, because that secures you in the playoffs. But the fact that Black Magic has 9 points, or in that 5th or 8th position, does make this a chance for them to try and come back through and knock out Cutie Fenn. But from what I've seen from Cutie Fenn, they've been super impressive. So I think Black Magic is going to have to work a little bit of Black Magic going against them. What do you expect to see here today, and what do you think each team is really going to need to bring to the table in order to try and overcome, knowing what's on the line?
To me, maybe because it's two teams which we have not seen that often overall in those golden ticket qualifiers. Maybe to put even more pressure on them, use anti-2-star bases. I have to say, I don't really know how much they're playing in Legends, but I feel like maybe anti-2-star bases are forcing more mistakes, and if you fall short on one of them, it's already typically a really bad percentage. So that might be a good play overall as well. I think we're going to keep seeing a lot of air, right? It feels like that's the main thing which we're seeing. If it's Lalo, if it's Dragons, overall, a lot of people try to use air at the moment, even though we had the balance changes coming in. In addition to that, we had the week 1 MVP, I believe, from one of the teams as well. So maybe they collected some confidence over there and being able to push even further. But we have to see and wait. Either way, it's going to be a super intense match because, as you have pointed out, it's really important for the points of those two teams, and it's pretty much their playoff spots on the line.
Yeah, I think that puts the most pressure on Cutie Fenn right now to have to try and defend their position in this, because they will be eliminated. This is single elimination round. So they'll keep the points that they have, but this gives a big jump ahead for the Black Magic, depending on what happens tomorrow as well, especially against Queen Walkers, because Queen Walkers is sitting at 15 stars. So tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day, depending on the result that we see today. I want to know in chat, though, who you guys think will get the win on this one, or who you actually would prefer to see. Do you guys want to see this mix-up? Do you want to see Black Magic being able to knock down Cutie Fenn and make this a very interesting lineup here, picking up some big points? But we're starting off Cutie Fenn, kicking it off with, we've got Zap Super Witch. Now, this is something we don't get to see quite as often, but it's still effective. Just biggest thing that you have to worry about is the time factor.
Yeah, time is always the big issue for the Super Witches. That's why you're bringing the regular Witches as well, because they're going to circle the base, and if everything is going well, they are supposed to start the cleanup nice and early. And oh my goodness, that Witch already nearly got taken down by the double giant bomb on the outside. Okay, there were Witches expected for sure, but we have now those troops going inside the Lightnings nicely, making sure that the funnel is set up. Now the Lock Launcher all the way towards the Town Hall, with the King leading the charge around the outside. This funnel witch, I don't really can see her anymore, so I don't know if that's going to work. Time, as we already said, always the problem.
Yeah, time definitely an issue, so you need to keep this functioning along nicely. You also typically want to wait on that Warden ability as long as possible, getting into the core of the base. So there are no multis, so you can use it a little bit earlier, but there is quite a bit of splash. Should be safe for the healers, but you have to worry about the possible air traps along the way as well. And there's no loons in there absorbing it, but we do have the ice golems freezing up that radius, which is nice, holding off the single, which is going to help quite a bit as they make their pass inside and holding off that Town Hall. We have that jump that is kind of unneeded, but we can use it going into the scatter shot if we want to jump the Queen in there, but Royal Champ looks like she's got it under control anyway. Never mind, the Queen got that taken down. So we've got some swag jump action in the mix as Zuo kicks this one off with, I'm going to call it Itsu, with a Queen ability, Royal Champ ability. I'm calling it a 3-star on the board.
Yeah, that's looking really good. The only thing is this elixir storage on the far right side might cause some time problems, but with that minion working on it, that should be no problem whatsoever. You are right, we are seeing the first 3-star for Cutie Fenn with those Super Witches, interesting enough, to come in, especially versus this Legend type base. That's kind of cool to see. So let's wait what type of attack we're going to see from the other side, from the Black Magic guys. And overall, that's a strong start, especially with the strategy, which is not that common. I mean, Super Witches, that's kind of the scary thing about them, right? Like, their last level was on Town Hall 12, and I'm always scared. Like, I hope so bad that Supercell is not going to release a new level on Town Hall 14 for them, because that would be scary. That would be really scary overall. So yeah, let's see what the next attack is going to be, or if we see some more Super Witches, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, well, actually, with Cutie Fenn, I would not be surprised. I think they are the team that I've seen coming in with more Super Witches than any other team, so we might see more of those coming through. But yeah, you know, it was very nice to see. We're seeing a lot more those Zap Quake combinations. It does help speed up the raid, and we'll see what happens. I'm happy that we're getting more action in the mix. You know, Super Witches are something that I think started falling off once we saw the Super P.E.K.K.A smash, especially after we saw the Super Bowler smash. But again, this makes a big problem for base builders in how to defend. It's nice having great meta where you're not just seeing one attack all the time, but it makes it so much harder for base building to try and predict how you're going to defend against any given team. But Black Magic definitely has to work their way along with this one. And you know, speaking of attacks that we're starting to see more of, the Super Bowler Smash, which has been taking over as a ground style attack. We do have the log launcher to open up the path, but this Warden is a mighty long way away from the Town Hall if he wants to do the typical cut across to take down the Town Hall, cutting through the opposite side of the base.
Yeah, and I just love it at the moment that we... Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe he just tries to prepare it, yeah, because he's still having the Flame Flinger left to deploy. I just feel like it would take too long otherwise. But yeah, one thing which I love about this match so far is that we're seeing more ground attacks. That's something which I'm kind of missing a lot of times when we're seeing those pro matches, because it's Lalo, it's more Lalo, and it's even more Lalo. That's kind of like the meta which we have at the moment, with sometimes some dragon attacks in there. So it's really nice to see those ground attacks with the Super Witches, with those Super Bowlers as well in the mix. So that's a really nice mix-up right there. The freeze for that king to keep it alive, and so far this entry point is looking awesome, especially that he's really close to this range of the town hall, so really knowing how he's able to maneuver his troops through the base. The Royal Champion coming in as well as soon as the defending king is distracted. So this means it's all about this back end, and if our Super Bowlers can actually push all the way, because the healers are already mainly gone with only one healer on that Royal Champion left.
Yeah, but we have the benefit of the Flame Flinger coming in. Royal Champ has already extended her ability and still has to get through the scatter shot, but contending with the king. She does have one healer on her, not enough to keep this going, and only 59 seconds left to go. It doesn't seem the Black Magic is coming out right now. Queen, even with the ability, if she can get there fast enough, take like the Yak trying to force her back into the base so she could use the ability, take the jump, get through. It's still unfortunately not going to be enough to get it done, and it was not enough of a funnel. So we are going to be looking at a mid percentage 2-star. We'll be probably in the 80% range, but I can't see this going into the 90s.
Yeah, every percentage counts. We have seen a lot of matches, especially with the finals of last weekend, being decided by one building. So every single second, every single building counts towards that overall percentage, because they can matter at the end of the day. That's like the important thing. For him, he's adding one goblin on the outside, which is not going to get any more buildings, but it's going to finish on 84% overall. Not the percentage you're looking for, but still,
yeah,
like we said, trying to get some more percentage in the end. Those Super Bowlers, even though the plan looked great, it kind of felt like with a lot of those healers gone within a couple of first seconds, it felt like just the power was missing overall, with the single furniture on the back end, the Super Bowlers being quite tanky, and versus the single furniture towers, it's not the best friend. So good approach, good try, but it did not work on this one. So we have to wait and see what now Cutie Fenn is coming up with. And you said already, they might come with more Super Witches, so we have more ground attacks to watch.
Yeah, I'd love to see more of the Super Witches because, like you said, we don't get to see enough ground attacks. And I remember, like, a couple of wars back, something we had been broadcasting, or Carbon and I had been broadcasting, a lot of complaints about all Lalo. And while Lalo does speak to the level of players, not to say that you can't be an amazing player and play ground, it's something just some players prefer to use. But we know that a lot of the viewers out there want to use ground attacks and they want to see how to do this from the experts and from the pros. So it is great to see more in the mix, especially with those super witches, to encourage people to try and use them even more now. So we do have Dark Fairies. Dark Fairies, a strong hitter from Cutie Fenn, with the super drag attack, coming in with the flame flicker to take on that town hall. Now we want to take this down to kind of start bypassing and chipping up the path of what we need for the dragons. Taking it on early does mean we eliminate the risk of having to go through the poison bomb, and we could get some nice value out of our heroes.
And take a look at that. He's bringing the barge to make sure that he is distracting that multi-mortar, giving his flame flinger a couple of more hit points overall. And now approaching that tunnel with the super dragons getting sent in from that bottom side. The warden right behind the first eagle shots is not getting blocked, so he's delaying the warden ability for quite some time. Typically he used the warden ability way earlier to block those first eagle shots, but things are still looking great with the loons blocking the first couple of black mines, and the super dragons now approaching closer, like faster and faster, that core, with the heroes circling around the outside.
Yeah, the scatter shot, though, needs to go down. The air super doing a good job of pushing those super drags off course, but we've got one coming in from the sidelines here. Going to take on some damage, but it is full health. Going to get some hits back, but I think he's got this under control. And that means the heroes have the power that they need coming in. So the biggest concern is going to be for that single, but we still have that flame flicker that's going strong, that has not opened up yet. We've got the Queen ability. We've got the Royal Champ, who's not even yet on the board. So this still has incredible power, plus 50 seconds left to go.
Yeah, like those air attacks look really, really impressive if they're working like this, and he can pretty much swag the Royal Champ at this point. Let's see if he's going to do it. I'm not the biggest fan of that always, because I feel like, yes, even though they have the lead at the moment, it can always come down to time. It might be unlikely, but why would you risk it? There's no reason to risk it. So, yeah, surprising decision over there, but either way, a nice attack of getting that 3-star in with the swag Royal Champion. But this means that Black Magic really need to get into this match, and we need to get the first 3-star for them to make sure that they're staying close and they're not falling behind too far, because we have seen that already earlier today a couple of times where teams were falling behind too far, and so far we have not seen a single comeback over the day.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what Cutie Fenn's relying on. I mean, like you said, it's not great to swag. Like, yes, you can swag that Royal Champ, but if they're too cocky coming into this thinking, well, we've got the lead, and they have one small slip up, like one big, not small, but one big slip up, they could do themselves in, and that time could be a factor at the end. I mean, 84%, it's not exactly where you want to be, but it is a mid-range attack where you can often see if people are going to slip up on a Lalo or anything like that, that's where it lands, is within that 80% range for the majority of players. So it could be risking it quite a bit, though I still think with the super drag attack, either way, it is a very fast attack. Maybe that's where he feels confident, but if I were them, I wouldn't play it overconfident.
Yeah, it's always the big question, like if it's worth it or not. But either way, so far they're looking great. 2 out of 2 for them. The Black Magic is up next, and they're coming in this time around, though not with ground but with air as well. But so far they have the flame fingers. Okay, never mind, they have not the flame fingers selected anymore. They switched to that blimp, now making sure that they can start with their dragons, all from this 9 o'clock side. Interesting enough. Okay, so is that blimp going to fly all the way across the base? That would be a pretty long blimp.
Yeah, I'm wondering, he's got the clone spell, he's got the 5 invisibility spells. I'm wondering if he's coming in with a super archer, blizzard, possibly, to get that working through. We've seen some cloned up versions of these to work along because they don't go the full range, but he can also use super minions as well for this. So let's see what comes down. We've got the drop, we've got the Seeky Goblins in there, we've got the super wizards, and do I see archer shoots in there? I do. So yes, indeed, we do come in with the blizzard archer combination to get some nice big range value, and that is something that we're starting to see a little bit more of. It can be risky, depending on placement, timing, opening, and the trap surrounding, and how quick you are with your spells. But doing some nice work here, and this base is like, this base is basically obliterated at this point. We have the Royal Champ still with her ability, but we still have to get through the back end where we have the scatter shot. But 2 invisibilities and a freeze, let's be honest, Itsu. I mean, she should have this one hands down.
For me, it really depends on back-end traps, to be honest. If there's a lot of skeleton traps, for example, this could be a big problem, especially because the Royal Champ is really ticking low. So let's see how that's going to work. And there's not too many dragons left alive. There's one super dragon, but there could be a lot of black mines around this tunnel area. So let's see how that's going to work. But there's so many spells, as you said it, and so far it seems like there is no traps popping up, or at least not in time with getting turned invisible. It's just too late, but we have the super... Oh, that super archer shot was quite nice, hitting everything in one, and that means it's the 3-star, as you said it. First 3-star for Black Magic, getting the job done nicely. And that means they're close up again. They're closing in the gap, making sure that they're staying close to Cutie, Fenn, and hoping to turn this match around. As we said, this would be the first comeback for the day, because so far otherwise we have always seen as soon as one of the teams is having a leading, they're going to keep it and they're going to protect it. So let's see how this one is going to turn out.
Yeah, this is their comeback moment. This is where they want to be, showing that they have more moves. They can try and turn this one around, but the defense is definitely needed in order to do that. Cutie, Fenn, I'm trying to remember where we've seen them star count wise. I'm not sure that we've seen them in the 15% range. I think maybe 13 to 14. So there is a possibility, but the Black Magic, I also don't remember how they were doing defensively. They did wind up lower on the board, so that speaks loads between the teams. But maybe in the meantime, Black Magic has tried to find ways to defend against them. And I think that would be kind of like the smarter lesson point is if you've already faced a team, you know you're going to go up against them, go back, look over what went wrong for the other team, where you can try and defend. And maybe Cutie Fenn did that job and maybe Black Magic didn't. We'll see. It's so far 1-star lead. Do you think we haven't seen a turnaround yet? Do you think we'll see a turnaround at 2?
I mean, I feel like those things are always super hard to predict. We just have to wait and see how the next attacks look like, and we have Cutie Fenn in next, and it really seems like so far the Black Magic really likes those legend bases. What is this double scatter setup in the core? This is looking so wild. What are we seeing right there? That's just crazy, but the Blizzard is nearly as crazy as well, with 3 ground skeletons popping up. Okay, that's a lot of ground skeletons right there. But oh my goodness, like my inner base building, I'm not building too many bases at the moment, but just seeing the setup with the double scatter shot, this is triggering me so bad. Let's see how the base is going to defend.
I mean, this is like easy pickup value. You get so much out of it. We'll see. You know, like this is where I'm wondering, did they do their homework or not? They need to try and defend against Cutie Fenn if they want to knock them out and get a big jump on the board. If they, to move forward in the next round, if they can defeat Queen Walkers tomorrow. And that's a big, tall order there. But we've got this nice opening. We do see this quite a bit with the open paths of the base, working the heroes in and out. And we can use the loons for some great support around the outside edge when we do this. So it's a pretty common approach to come in with. But those double scatter shots, if the Royal Champ can sneak in there with the freezes, this is easy push coming in. And the Queen's already there with the King. They've got this under control. Wait.
That Queen... Oh my goodness, this Queen value right there is insane. Being able to pick off the Eagle, double scatter, I mean, that is just insane how much value he got with just those heroes. And the Loon part just pushed those heroes even further into that direction. So what a wonderful attack right there. Really nicely done. Big question mark to me what the mission of this double scatter shot compartment was, but either way, a really nice Blizzard into an even nicer hero dive into the core of the base, with the Lalo pretty much only guiding those heroes into the correct direction. Royal Champ ability not even needed right there. And this means another 3-star with the Royal Champion Shield swag finish.
Yeah, definitely holding strong in this one. This is putting them quite strong on the board now. It's nice to see them doing some great work because they earned their position sitting in the top 4, and this would be a big bump for them. But like I said, either way, what's going to be interesting for tomorrow's match is winner of this war has to face off against the Queen Walkers. So Queen Walker Stephanie. And that could make a big difference in where they wind up sitting later on. But there are 4 teams that already have rankings, so it does kind of keep them in a good spot. I think the biggest problem is for Black Magic, since they only have 9 points, and I believe it's Cutie Fenn with 12 and Queen Walkers and Batang with 15.
Yeah, that's 100% right. Like, Black Magic really needs to get this win to get further into the direction of claiming more points, while Cutie Fenn already is looking pretty good. So winning this matchup would get them pretty much guaranteed already a top 4 spot. So this match is for both teams incredibly important. So every single 3-star counts, every single percent counts in the end, and making sure that you're coming a little closer towards that victory and then qualifying for getting more points for the playoffs then at the end. So far, it's depending on the next attack of Black Magic, they're up next and then need to 3-star. Otherwise, we're seeing again around the 3 attack mark a 2-star difference, which so far none of the teams earlier in the day were able to overcome. So let's see, they're in, and it's kind of cool to see finally some legend bases, I have to say. In this matchup, way more legend bases overall. So way more risk as well to maybe get a 1-star. And we have this attack now coming in with some P.E.K.K.A, with some Super Wizards and some Bats, which is always kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I love this combination. One thing that you have to keep in mind is the amount of splash damage on the back end and how you're going to use your Royal Champion or that Ice Golem potentially to help protect and get more value out of it. But this is a nice path. There's a lot of reachable area within that narrow opening that opens up to a huge portion of the core of the base. And of course, we also have the jump to lead into it. So this is going to be a nice, interesting one, especially since we've cleared out the town hall and we can just shape up a nice, easy funnel and push straight through the core of the base.
Yeah, and so far the Warden takes some time with some Ice Golems. I just remember the time where the Ice Golems were not nerfed just yet on defense, and every single time you were literally thrown into an ice time as soon as you were approaching a triple Ice Golem flying castle. It was true pain facing an Ice Golem clan castle. But right now we have actually the Warden going with the P.E.K.K.A and the Super Wizards, going a different way than the Queen, which actually, if I'm completely honest, might not even be the worst things to happen, because those P.E.K.K.A are going to clear out the core with that beautiful Warden ability, while the other side, the bottom side now, is getting taken care of from the Queen, and he even has the Royal Champion now coming from the top side as well. So things are looking really good right now for him, with only the multi-throwing tower being the big threat at the back end.
Yeah, and I like that he used the Royal Champion kind of as that key stopper for the Wizard Tower for that splash damage. He only has that 1 spell left, but the multi could obliterate it if we don't see the Royal Champ taking it down. We want those bats for cleanup ideally. We've got 53 seconds left to go, and there's a lot still remaining from the 9:30 to 12 o'clock side of the base that have to go back around. This defending king definitely defending his stand here and ground, but the Warden trying to take it out. He's just very slow moving. So losing those bats, unfortunately, really hurt this. And this is going to be another defense. So this is going to put them 2 stars behind Cutie Fenn and put them in a very tough position to come back, because like you said, we haven't seen the comeback yet.
Yeah, and this is tank falling short quite quickly with this back-end multi-throwing tower, and there was no real answer for it. Like, there was nothing which he had planned out for that, and even with the Queen going inside, I feel like he would have not been able to reach that. So actually having the Queen stepping not into the core was, at least it felt like it wasn't even too bad for him, but still it did fail in the end, falling short with those 94%. And now we have the big problem of this 2-star difference again between those two teams. And that's a difference which so far none of the teams or none of the matches which we have seen earlier today were able to change things up. We have not seen that comeback. So it would be actual black magic, as you said earlier, with coming back with this match, because so far it's looking really, really good for Cutie Fenn.
It is. It definitely is. And I have to say, I really actually did like that plan. I had a lot of faith in it. I think the biggest problem was it was that final freeze. If it was able to be held for those bats for the multi, it could have worked out. I think that needed to be there for the cleanup. That's the sole purpose of your bats. I do think it was a kind of a smart approach, but there's a couple different ways that you could go about it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it picked up the 2-star, so not the right one. And let's see what Kyle can do from Cutie Fenn. They know that they have a massive advantage here. They've gone perfect so far. We haven't seen anyone actually pull in a perfect war, but we have seen 14 stars from each of the contenders that will face off tomorrow. And that's exactly where Cutie Fenn is going to want to be, to show some fear if they're going to make their way through. We get that nice blimp coming in to take down the town hall and lure the CC, so we can pull it to a dark little corner. Maybe even leave it there, but we can use the baby drag to actually take it out if we want, or Queen and King. Take it on easy.
Yeah, interestingly, using the phrase early on, like not really using the poison or something. He wants to delay the poison to take down that Lava Hound. At the same time, though, needs to be careful. With that King clearing out the far left side, it might be possible that this Queen is now backtracking to the right side, backtracking to the gold storage and so on. So he has to be careful with that. So far, it's looking good that the Queen is just getting dragged to the left side from those defending Lava Pups. But now he has to start into this right side with those Super Dragons. They're getting deployed on the far right side. Loons are in there as well to tank some Black Mines. But I don't really see that Queen surviving for too long, and I feel like this is one of the most important things when you're doing those air attacks. Queen has to survive, and especially that Unicorn. Those are the two most important things, and so far, that's not how it looks like.
It's nice timing of the ability with the Tornado Trap, the Red Air Bombs. That means the Loons are going to be able to push in a little bit deeper, sniff out any additional traps along the way. And actually, the Queen taking down the Expo there kind of forced everything along in a little bit better to the core of the base. Those Loons still going strong at this. This is very uncommon that you actually see them going straight through the back end of the base here and surviving with the Dragons. But this Queen, are you serious? This Queen actually managed to survive? Really? Before the Royal Champ died out and the Queen is actually still going on this? I mean, we've got the invisibility spell. He's got to play his cards right, but there still is a lot of damage incoming. And that Super Drag is just way low health. This Warden, we know, hits very slowly, which makes it a problem when it comes down to this. This is why you want your Royal Champ alive, but an invisibility spell really could potentially save this. It's going to be, oh.
That Queen.
I think Black Magic is on Cutie Fenn's side. Honestly, it's zero.
What is going on? That Queen surviving for so freaking long. It is incredible. I mean, I think time is going to be the biggest problem in the end. Even just power, I don't mind, but it's crazy how many more percentages were collected at the end of this attack just because of the Unicorn. I'm pretty sure before the update, this attack would have been guaranteed a 3-star. I'm pretty sure, to be honest. Like, just with the small tweaks in there, that was just a close attack right there. But it's the first defense for Black Magic, so maybe they have the chance of coming back, even though it's still hard, because the percentage, as we have mentioned, that Queen is going crazy all the way and collecting building after building after building. So let's see if Black Magic is collecting some more 3-stars, because they have to go 2 out of 2 to actually have a still a chance.
Yeah, I am definitely impressed at the value of the Queen to go that strong, because I thought by the time she was at that expo, she was down for the count. But miraculously was resuscitated by something. Maybe the Black Magic is like jinxed and it's working in Cutie Fenn's side, giving them at least a % advantage on this. But again, they need like massive defense here. They were down 2 stars. If they pick up a 3-star, they're still going to be down 1 star. So they would need like another defense and just go perfect at this point in order to try and do it. And I think they've just gotta bring in these triples and keep their fingers crossed. But let's see, we've got Tangsu in with the Super Bowler Smash. And we're starting off with the Blimp. We've got the Seeking Cops to take down the Town Hall. And we do have the Queen right to the outside edge. It's perfect position for her to take on the defending CC, where she's mostly unobstructed by heavy defenses, though that you can see the range of that ground expo just out of range of her. So this is why you want to do this. You want to keep her in an area where there's limited damage. So you have her coming in nice and fresh, and you don't have to waste your rages early on.
Yeah, and interesting that you can actually reach that air defense from the outside, which is really nice for that Queen entry. So even as a Queen charge, this would be a nice entry. So kinda we have to wait and see if there's any black mines, because as we have said, with this air defense in range, this entry looks to me kinda obvious. Jump as well in place, trying to get that P.E.K.K.A into that base as well. But there's the first black mine. Let's see if there are any more, but so far it's looking good for him. The next rage is getting used. The warning ability had not even been used yet, which means there's a lot of power still on the back end. King ability as well in there. Roy Chairman in there as well. Now the warning ability, but he did not open that single Inferno Tower, interesting enough. So this means that, well, he has to distract you with the skeleton spell now.
Yeah, skeleton spell, and also uses the freeze just to hold it off. Maybe a little wasted, but I think he wanted to do some damage, which doesn't make too much sense considering there's a battle builder right next to it. So I think it was a waste of a freeze at that point that he could have held later on in the raid. That might have been more useful for this. But he still has a lot of power left with those super bowlers. It's just about rounding the corner, and he's got the opening into that scatter shot, but using the wall break to actually get the easy quick access. With a minute 5 on the clock, he has some time, but it just depends what still stands. These Golemites, so look at this, they're tanking. They're letting this Royal Champ in unobstructed. He's just hoping no Skelly traps in the way here so she can take on that single targeting Inferno.
Yeah, that single Inferno Tower, it feels like the last boss in this base, especially with no spells left whatsoever. And the big problem as well for him is that there is no Yak anymore, which means that could have been a nice and easy way to get through all of those walls. Double giant bomb popping off, but 30 seconds. Time is the biggest enemy right here. King is walking around. Where is the Queen going? The Queen has to go inside, and then as soon as she's locking out through the wall, he has to pop her ability. Wizard and Minion are helping to take care of that Wizard Tower, and now Queen ability any second. Is this going to be enough? Warden, come on, stop, help the Super Bowlers, help that Queen. The Queen is more important.
Oh,
don't go
King.
for... Stop it.
Does she have it? Does she have it?
Oh my god.
Itsu, she has it. And you know, like honestly, I was ready to say if he hadn't used that freeze early on when he was using the Skellies, that could have been the difference maker. I did not think she would be able to get that down with not going onto it first. So they are still in this to try and win it, but they need a big defense. They're 1 star behind now. They're trying to turn this around, which is excellent to see, but it's a huge percentage differential for them. And that's where they need to see a big defense coming in, plus picking up the 3 stars. So it is a tall order right now, and Cutie Fenn has been going strong. They have not shown any weaknesses, you know, no weak chains or links in the chain. But anytime I see a Flame Flinger, I just know it's going to be obliterated. I know you can bait them a little bit easier, but I feel a lot of people have wised up to how to work around this, even with the mortars in range and getting the value you need. Like, look, the Queen distracting it is perfect.
And I think I'm just trying to remember, because as I said, I watched a lot of Kazuma videos recently. And I think he did the exact same entry with on this base. Since I believe it's a Gaku base, which he posted on YouTube. If I remember it correctly, I just saw the thumbnail. I think it was this shape. So let's see if that Queen charge is going to work. Because if that Queen somehow is going to skip that Town Hall, he's going to have a big problem. He opened quite a bit. With the Flame Bringer though getting a lot of value, like that's awesome. He's going to get the scatter shot as well. But that queen has to go for the Town Hall. If the queen is skipping that Town Hall, he has a big problem. Not only because of the single Fenn tower, but because the Town Hall is, well, going to stay alive for pretty much ever. So king at the top side, that's exactly what Kazuma did as well. And so far things are looking great. If that queen is doing that step now to the top, no, she is skipping that Town Hall. Exactly what I was kind of like having nightmares about, and this now is going to be tricky.
Yeah, this is going to have to try and recover. This could be a 2-star. It's difficult when your queen charge goes off plan to try and 3-star, but I think Cutie Fenn is a team that could potentially do it. The only problem is the value that you lose popping those loons through the Town Hall. Yes, we have the Warden, but we don't have a haste or a rage to try and sweep them out of that poison bomb, so they're going to wind up slowly going through. Drops the invisibility spell for the Royal Champion so she can take down the scatter shot, but look at this. This is where the loons suffer, and the tornado trap is going to hold them off. So now it's a matter of percentage and a 3-star to see if Black Magic can actually get back in this. The queen's still alive with her ability intact, so they can pick up a lot of percent. So I still think that they have the percent advantage for this coming in with what this queen has left over.
Yeah, and again, the queen on the back end of Cutie Fenn is just insane. Always those queens collecting so many percentage. No, on the top left there's still elixir storage around that king.
Okay.
So,
and the podium still. Yeah,
like it won't be a 3-star, but still, like, saving to this on a 95% is pretty impressive. But this means the advantage is not as big anymore, and if they're failing again with their last attack, I mean, there is a chance, okay? This match got way closer with this 2-star defense again. So Black Magic, though, they need to 3-star. If they don't 3-star, it's done. Oh, wait a second. Can they? No, I don't think they can come back at all, right? They don't have the
percentage, I don't believe.
No.
Yeah, because they had lower percenting 2-stars. They were like kind of in the mid area. I think 85% was the first one. And yeah, Cutie Fenn's been hitting in the 90 range. That 95 helps out quite a bit. So I don't think that's going to be possible. I wasn't writing down the actual scores in the notes, but yeah, I think it is not possible. We've just confirmed. So it's more of a 3-star for just for feel good, to hold up against them. They held a good game. They almost took down Cutie Fenn, but this does mean tomorrow's going to be really interesting with Cutie Fenn and Queen Walkers having to fight their way for a higher scoring war, with them both being in the top 4.
Yeah, but I feel like just based on the performance which we have seen today so far from both teams, it's going to be really hard to beat that Queen Walker squad. They're looking really, really strong at the moment. Especially in the current meta. They have now so many Queen Charge Lalo attackers, and with Queen Charge Lalo being the strongest, most flexible strategy at the moment, I think it's kind of hard to beat that team. But at the same time, let's see now the last attack, the feel-good attack for the Black Magic with the Nikita strategy. No, not the Nikita strategy. Maybe not. Rip. That blimp got baited, and that sneaky goblin is not going to reach that town, is not going to get its gold.
No. So let's see what he can do about this. Working his way through. Now, I think we've only seen one Electro Drag attack today. That was from Sincere Prayer, which was 1 minute and 32 seconds or something like that. Insanely fast, and he is the MVP this week because he's the fastest hitter. Let's see how this goes for Tashawn, and if he can get it faster than what we saw from Sincere Prayer.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to first get the 3-star with that blimp falling short that much. So that's the first problem. And then going into those double sweepers as well, which are pushing his electric even further away from the town. It kind of feels like at the moment that he's like, whatever, after that bait, it's over anyway, so let's just use the E-Dragons as intended in the first time. Let's see if we're going to get that Town Hall. That's kind of like how it feels at the moment. Next Rage is in though, he needs to freeze, and oh, double freeze actually, that's interesting. Making sure that this Town Hall is going to fall with this Super Minion coming in as well, but there's so many builders behind it. Take a look at that. Those builders are non-stop repairing that Town Hall. We have to remember the builders got buffed, and with that, this Town Hall is going to survive versus the Rage Double Electric Dragon, or versus the double Super Minion, and versus the Royal Champion Shield. This Town Hall is invincible.
A Town Hall, definitely, but we get through, and there's a minute 7 left on the clock. He's not going to beat Sincere Prayers a time advantage. We still have these E-Drags. Looks like they're low health from what I saw as they were clicked on. One in the back, yeah, these are both really low health, and the 2 Drag Riders not going to be enough to finish this one off. So it's not going to be their day. You know, this is a 13 to 12-star war. This is actually one of the lower scoring wars, and I think Cutie Fenn is going to need to step up their game tomorrow against Queenwalkers, potentially.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a great. Overall, I think we have tomorrow incredible matches. I think just overall the bracket looked stacked already today, so I think tomorrow is going to be even crazier because we're going to see all of those teams with the high scores meeting up against each other, and I feel like with the majority of those teams getting 14 stars today, I think it's going to be a completely crazy day tomorrow with a lot of high scoring matches, a lot of cool teams which are going to compete for those last final points in this qualifier number 3. And exactly because of that, we should take a look at the bracket and take a look at what matches can we expect tomorrow, and take a look at that. The Tang versus MSE Esports, already a crazy matchup. And then after that, Queenwalker Stephanie versus Cutie Fenn. This is going to be insane tomorrow. I feel like I'm super excited about the matchups tomorrow. So many good teams, and that's going to be great.
Yeah, this is going to be a very exciting bracket tomorrow. So as we were talking about, the Tang and Queenwalkers with 15 points on the board already, and Cutie Fenn with, I believe, they are 12. I don't know if we can take a quick look at the tournament lineup. Yeah, there's a leaderboard. So Vatang and Queenwalkers right there, Cutie Fenn underneath. These are the top 3. So that Queenwalkers Cutie Fenn match is really going to be a huge one for tomorrow. Who's gonna get the bigger points? Who's gonna be moved down? But with Marcus Gaming not here, they should actually stay within the same position. I guess the question is going to be, where does where does Black Magic stand in this? You know, how many points are they going to get? Is it going to be enough to move up past Marcos Gaming and knock them out? So we'll see leaderboards at some point during the week, but we still need to get through tomorrow's matchup. And that's going to be a really exciting one too.
Yeah, just all of those teams, I feel like at the moment, with the last balance changes, my gut feeling is that the teams got divided a little bit more. I mean, overall, we know already that there's a huge skill gap in between of the Clash community, between casuals and then the competitive scene. But I feel like within the competitive scene with this last update, we see even a bigger gap now between the top dog teams and then like the teams which are just pretty good overall. So cannot wait for the matches tomorrow. I'm super excited again to cast those then with you. And well, it was a wonderful day. Thank you casting with you. Cannot wait for the matches tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. A pleasure as well, Itsu, of course. And big shout out and thank you to Rush.gg, this is powered by for our gold edition of Clash Masters. We'll catch you same time, same place, 1 p.m. UTC. See you then, guys.